There we go. Now it's working.
You know,
I didn't expect her to say anything. Ah, the acting Grand Sage.
why don't we go to the academia and ask around?
Well, this should be entertaining. Let's see how many feet he's stepping on.
How's everything going with your thesis?
I should be able to publish it next month. A few days ago, I was worried that I'd have to stop my work on it. Thankfully, that didn't come to pass.
Well, Azar was one of your thesis advisors. Honestly, I was afraid that you might have gotten dragged down as well. How did things get settled?
Fuck Azar.
The newly appointed acting Grand Sage reviewed all of our projects and gave us permission to continue our research.
Acting Grand Sage? That sounds like a new thing.
Yeah, I heard that selecting new sages has been taking some time, so he's just filling in. But it's all thanks to him that our research results weren't jeopardized. Once my paper is published, I'm definitely giving myself a long vacation and getting some much-needed rest. Mondstadt sounds like a good idea.
Mondstadt certainly is a relaxing place, but...
They're
so is
really
this.
out of their minds, making Alhaitham the acting Grand
Oh.
Sage?
Here's some jack-off.
Take it easy, Professor. I'm puzzled as well. Just going by qualifications, you're one of our most preeminent scholars. I don't know why they picked a stripling like him.
Fool! Do you think I'm angry because I wasn't chosen for the position? No! It's because I don't understand why they chose him! He was one of my students, but he rarely attended class. When I asked him about it, he retorted that self-study was better use of his time.
Oh!
What brazen arrogance! Misery of miseries! For the academia to have him
Oh,
as
you must
the
be
acting
worthless
Grand
because
Sage?
Alhaitham would not make that judgment brazenly. No, it's
Professor,
because you're a
don't
waste
get so
of time.
worked up. I'll go get you some water.
Psst. Want to hear a secret? I've heard the new acting Grand Sage is from Haravatat.
Really? Who is it?
Someone named Alhaitham. Never met him myself, but he's a real hot topic right now. Lots of things being said about him. Hard to tell what's true and what isn't, though. There's also a Vahumana scholar who's been in the spotlight recently. They say that he's a likely pick to be one of the next sages.
Oh, is he teaching any courses? Maybe we should drop by.
I mean, teaching
News
nothing.
of Alhaitham being the acting Grand Sage sure spread fast. Some people don't know who he is, though. Guess he's less famous than Paimon Dot. Some people are saying good things and others bad. Especially that old guy just now. He
Alhaitham
really
hurt his
doesn't
ego,
like
now he's
Alhaitham.
pissed. Kaveh? No. NPC.
Hey, are you okay? You don't look too good.
The Matra.
The
What about the
Matra?
Matra?
I'm Ilias. I have to talk to a Matra about something important.
In the state you're in? You shouldn't push yourself. Why don't you tell us what happened and we'll pass on your message to Amatra?
No, I have to tell them myself. They are the only ones I can trust. Sorry, can you lend me your arm? This is an important matter. Failure is not an option.
Since you put it that way, fine, we'll take you to Amatra.
A little disappointing that the next three characters are ones whose archetype I already know.
We promised to take him to Amatra, but we don't know that many, do we? Oh, wait, Sino should be back at the Academia. Let's go find him. Hey there. Excuse us, but is Sino at the Academia?
You two look familiar. Are you friends of Mahamatra Sino? I'm afraid he's out on a mission right now. But if you'd like, I can pass whatever message you might have on to him.
We ran into this guy by the gates, and he seems really eager to speak with Amatra. It sounds like something urgent.
Oh? If you don't mind, why don't you tell me about it first?
Siraj.
Siraj. That name sounds familiar. Isn't he a Vahumana researcher?
Vahumana researcher?
Yes, one of their most renowned, in fact. I hear he's as daring as he is intelligent. There are rumors he'll become Vahumana's next sage. But please continue, good sir. What about Siraj?
I want to report him for conducting a dangerous experiment. He kidnapped me, tied me up, and took me to that horrible cave. Experimental equipment everywhere. I ran as fast as I could, a little slower, and he would have caught me.
There's no rush. Please, take your time. What kind of experiments was he conducting? Where is this cave?
I don't remember.
Huh? You can't remember?
All I remember is Siraj walking towards me, and then my head started feeling weird. It's like a nightmare that I can't recall. I just know that that place is dangerous, and that they must be stopped. Oh, I heard they conduct business in the tavern. We have to hurry.
Even if what you say is... All right. I'll have some of my colleagues look into Siraj. But before that, I would like to administer the Matra lie detector test.
You think I'm lying?
Please don't take it the wrong way. This is just standard protocol. Sorry, but can you two wait out here a little while? We'll be back soon.
Alhaitham?
Huh? Alhaitham?
Let me bring you up to speed. First things first, Ilyas passed the lie detector test. This indicates that what he said is highly credible. As such, we've decided to launch an investigation based on the leads he provided. Per protocol, this matter was reported to Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham. After hearing about it, he left a message for Mahamatra Sino and then asked to join the investigation.
Huh. It's kind of weird for you to be working with the Matra. Is there a special reason?
You're overthinking things. My interest was piqued is all.
Really? I'm surprised you have this much free time. In that case, let's join in as well, shall we, Traveler?
It's already against protocol for Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham to participate in this investigation. As for you two... Oh, never mind. After all, you were the ones who brought Ilyas here. I'll allow you to accompany us, but you have to promise to keep everything confidential.
Don't you worry. Our lips are sealed.
All right, in that case, I'll fill you in on what we know so far. Ilyas claimed that Siraj will be conducting some business with a Kasharawar researcher at the tavern. This is one of his few clear memories. It seems he stumbled upon this...
Alright, my headphones stopped working.
Incidentally, Siraj isn't at the academia right now. He applied for long-term off-site research 1 month ago. It's close to the time that Ilyas had given, so we've decided to head to the tavern and investigate any suspicious persons.
That's right. Arav, prepare to head out. You two, do as you will.
Oh, come on! We already said that we're coming!
Ooh. Now Alhaitham is in charge, he speaks with authority.
We're here, Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham. What's our next course of action? Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham?
Looks like you haven't read any memos lately. The new Academia decree clearly states that even a sage doesn't have the authority to interfere with the Matra's actions during an ongoing investigation. If your superior were here, he wouldn't be asking me what to do. Instead, he'd be telling me to stay out of the way.
You're right. Understood. Then please wait here as we lock down the perimeter and search for suspicious persons. Ilyas, please stay here. Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham, I'll have to trouble you with the protection of our primary witness.
Sure. Though I'd rather he just protect himself.
He's the same as ever, casually ignoring people just like he did back at Aru Village.
Answering a simplistic question only enables the questioner. Besides, I need him to understand my position clearly. Arav has just as many doubts about my coming along as you do. But unlike you two, he's making this matter more complicated than it is, with his considerations like the acting Grand Sage is trying to seize the Matra's powers. That question was obviously bait. The Matra were once under the influence of the sages, and so were often subject to these bureaucratic traps. The test was strictly unnecessary, though. I hope that our exchange will assure him that I won't interfere with their work this time.
Why is this so complicated?
This is why I was against becoming the acting Grand Sage from the very first. Titles and rank inevitably make a lot of things more troublesome than usual.
Excuse me, acting Grand Sage Alhaitham. I've had a question on my mind, and I need to know the answer no matter what. Have we met before?
No. I have no recollection of ever meeting you.
Haha! I thought so too. I probably wouldn't have had anything to do with someone of your caliber.
Then why did you ask?
Well, for some reason I felt a sense of familiarity when I met you for the first time.
Really? A misperception, perhaps. Or...
Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham, we've apprehended a suspect.
Siraj?
No, it's the Ksharawar researcher who has dealings with him. His name is Narendra.
Acting Sage Alhaitham? Wait, can someone please explain what's going on? I admit that I did steal some mechanical components from the lab and sell them, but does something like that really warrant the personal interest of the acting Grand Sage? What have I gotten myself into? I know I let greed get the best of me, but please, I promise that this won't ever happen again.
I would like to ask him a few questions.
Of course.
Do you know Siraj?
Yeah, that's the name of my buyer. He asked to make the transaction at the tavern, but he never showed up.
What were the details of this transaction?
He's doing some kind of experiment that seems to require many power generators and electrical components that can only be found in our project. He contacted me in private and said that he'd pay a large sum of Mora if I was willing to put some aside for him, under the pretense of them being defective parts. We had originally agreed to meet at the tavern earlier today to do the trade. I sure didn't expect to get stood up, or run into you all.
Perhaps Siraj was aware that Ilyas might leak information, so he intentionally didn't show up. Whatever the case, it seems that this lead ends here. The good news is, regardless of what Siraj was planning, his progress will now be severely hindered by a lack of power generators and electrical components. We still have time to conduct our investigation. Do you have any more questions for the suspect?
No. He's all yours. But I'd like to borrow Ilyas for a while.
Oh, that's fine. We conducted a comprehensive lie detection exam, which showed that he has a genuine case of amnesia. We're not planning to pursue any further breakthroughs on that front. However, I am curious, what do you need him for exactly?
I've read some papers regarding amnesia, and I'd like to try restoring his memories.
I see. We'll be returning to the Academia then. I'll leave Ilyas in your care.
Follow me.
Siraj didn't show up at the tavern, and Narendra didn't give us any leads. Ugh, that means we're stuck. Oh, Hatham, are you serious about seeing things through? Paimon's pretty surprised that you're this interested in the case.
I thought you would have guessed the reason by now.
Huh?
Yes, we were classmates.
Oh, so that's why you asked to come along when Arav briefed you on the situation. So you're not here because you're interested in the case itself, but because you know the suspect?
You couldn't be further from the truth, but I wasn't expecting much from you to begin with. For the time being, all you need to know is that we were once classmates. I became the scribe afterwards while he continued his academic endeavors. He submitted a thesis 1 year ago, and the Grand Sage at the time asked for my opinion. I did not approve of it because it committed one of the 6 cardinal sins by touching upon human evolution. From violating matters regarding human evolution to attempting the forbidden and fearing none, the 6 cardinal sins are the origin of all evil in this world. They are also what the sages use as a reference when formulating or amending the rules of the academia. My opinion was that Siraj's research was both overly naive and in violation of various core principles. The Grand Sage took some of my suggestions on board and ultimately decided to reject the application.
So that's why he's buying energy sources and electrical components.
He's most likely trying to circumvent the rules and conduct his experiment in secret.
That sounds super suspicious. Oh, we gotta stop him. Ilias, can you try to remember things again? Maybe something new will pop up.
I'm sorry, but I've already tried many times. And no matter how hard I try, it feels like everything in my mind is shrouded in a thick mist.
It is possible for a person to subconsciously forget some of their memories as a defense mechanism against extreme
I think
stress.
that's what happened.
However, these memories aren't truly lost, but merely sealed away. They can be restored with the appropriate stimulus. Now, try to recall things you care about. They don't need to be related to this case.
Well, actually, I feel like I've forgotten more than just the memories of the time I was kidnapped and experimented on. The kind of person I am, the things I've done, I can remember some things, but I can't recall some others no matter how hard I try. But I do vaguely remember that there are 2 things that I have to do no matter what.
Do tell.
The first is to get my paycheck from the academia and give it to my younger sister in Gandharvaville. I'm not sure about the details, but it seems that I would send money to my younger sister every month to pay for family expenses.
And the second thing? What's the second thing?
I can't remember. Sorry, there's just so much I can't recall.
Not unexpected. However, you're the only one who has seen Siraj and knows the exact location of his cave at present. As such, we'll do everything we can to help you regain your memories.
Losing your memories must be really painful. But don't you worry, we'll help you get them all back.
Oh, thank you so much. This feeling, it's more than just pain. I don't know how to describe it. I have so few memories that I don't even have a clear idea of who I am. And my head's always ringing. It feels like I could faint at any moment. But amidst all that, it also feels like I've been set free somehow.
Concerning.
Nevertheless, I have you all to thank for bringing me what clarity I do have right now. Now, I do remember that I worked part-time at a place in the academia called the Research Preparation Center. That's also where I got my monthly paycheck.
Alright, so we know Siraj is doing human experimentation and human evolution experiments. I believe memory manipulation could be a part of that.
I see. In that case, let's go and find whoever's in charge there.
Loaded.
Oh, Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham. I've sent this period's research expenses report to your office. Have you taken a look? Are there any issues with it?
I did. Recent research expenses have decreased quite a bit compared to past figures.
Oh.
Yes, though that is primarily because there are fewer scholars with research needs. But that can
makes
be a
sense.
rather convoluted topic. Might I ask why you are here today?
I believe you know this individual. His name is Ilyas. He worked part-time here, and he's here for his paycheck.
Oh, yes, of course. Though, Ilyas, where have you been these past few days? That was our busy period, but then you disappeared without a word. Everyone had to pick up the slack.
I'm sorry, something unexpected came up. But I know I've caused trouble for everyone. Is there anything I can do to make up for it?
The other researchers have more or less finished your share of the work. However, there is one thing that is yet to be settled. Do you remember Chandra? You were in charge of following up on his off-site research application. He retracted his application a few days ago and canceled his off-site project. He's the 12th person to retract a research application this month. I'd like you to ask him why he did that. Chandra is probably having coffee at this hour, so you can find him at the cafe.
Understood. Then, about my paycheck.
I'll pay you in full once you return. However, make sure you don't disappear without saying anything again. Be considerate to your colleagues and give them some forewarning at least.
Hold up a second.
Is this acceptable, Acting Grand Sage Alhaitham?
I have no objections.
Nah, I would have said no, it is not. While the information is classified, his disappearance was something not under his control. In other words, his free will and freedom itself was stripped from him. You will hand him his payment now.
Ilyas? Long time no see. What can I do for you?
I heard that you canceled your research project, so I'm just here to ask you why.
Oh, that, it's really nothing special. I just don't feel like going anymore. I'm not the only one who canceled, right? I mean, people have had no motivation to conduct research lately, haven't they?
No motivation to conduct research?
Yeah. Say, who might you be? You look sort of familiar.
Oh, don't mind me. Please, continue.
Well, with the downfall of the Sages not long ago, many of the projects that they led were put on hold while they were being investigated. With the situation being so volatile, people are picking up random things to do to kill time. No one wants to risk starting any new research until it's clear how things will pan out in the future.
When you say how things will pan out, you actually mean what the new Sages would have interest in, right?
Wow, talk about blunt. But that isn't the only reason for the lack of motivation to start new research.
So what are the other reasons?
Well, because the Akasha terminal shut down. I'm sure you're all aware that we require all kinds of knowledge to perform any of the research we do. Back then, the Akasha would respond to any of our requests for the knowledge we needed. It was beyond convenient. We didn't have to spend an extended amount of time studying, so we were able to immediately run various tests and experiments.
I see.
You get it, right? After having had a taste of something so amazing, who can be bothered to manually sift through data and files ever again? There are only a handful of people at the academia who are starting new projects or performing research. Most people are like me, waiting for a recognized researcher to start a project before immediately applying to join. Although our names will be further down in the paper, we'll have a much easier time. We don't have to do most of the mental heavy lifting. All we have to do is focus on our assigned tasks.
Laziness.
Ilyas? What's wrong?
My head, it hurts. I remember now. I remember what Siraj said to me as he approached. You will become Siraj number 36. Fuse yourself with a consciousness under my control. Think only in accordance with a set module, like a worker bee in a beehive.
Paimon doesn't get it. What does that even mean?
It means he's trying to make a hive mind biocomputer.
It's what Siraj was researching and the topic of the thesis he had submitted. Collective consciousness and the path of evolution. Siraj believed that by achieving 3 objectives, he could create a collective consciousness in human society and drive humans toward their ultimate evolution. First, he would rank test subjects in descending order of ability, with number 1 serving as the Overmind.
This Overmind would then divide tasks into numerous modules and delegate them to the collective's members based on their assigned number and the task's importance. Lastly, this system must support the rapid exchange of information within the collective, or even better, allow its members to share their memories and emotions.
Paimon still doesn't get it. What's the point of all that?
Think of it as linking many minds together and tailoring a given mind's assigned work based on its compatibility. Eventually, everyone's minds will be consolidated into a new form of existence that is both an individual and an organization. Siraj believes this collective consciousness is superior to individual humans.
Whoa. Squishing a whole bunch of people together? Paimon thinks that sounds horrible.
It's just as Alhaitham said. Siraj gave all the test subjects different numbers. Bigger numbers meant you had a lower rank, so your assigned tasks were less complex, such as being responsible for everyone's basic needs. Smaller numbers were ranked higher, so you'd be given more complex assignments like planning for the future. Siraj referred to me as number 36, and I think that was a low-ranking number. I also recall that Siraj said his plan was proceeding very quickly, and that the hive would soon be complete.
Oh no, then we gotta hurry! We have to stop him before it's complete!
I tried my best, but that's all I can remember. I still can't recall where the cave is. I'm really sorry.
Take your time. You'll eventually remember it all. However, something doesn't seem right. Some details don't add up.
What's off?
You were only designated as number 36? What a shame. From what I can see, your talents merit a smaller number.
I'm not sure what Siraj's numbering system is based on. Anyway, we're done here. Let's go.
It's based on conformity,
Please, wait.
not on capability.
I heard you all talking about Siraj just now. Are you looking for him?
Huh? Do you know something?
Well, Siraj is pretty popular as of late. I heard he's gained recognition from a lot of well-known researchers. Supposedly, he's a strong contender for being one of the next sages. There are many who would give up everything to be a part of his research team. I'm nothing special, though, so I doubt I'd get the opportunity. That said, I do know a researcher who received an invitation from Siraj but declined it. Her name is Janaki. If you're interested, you can try to find her. She's usually reading at the pavilion in the garden.
It's funny that we haven't found any not hyperpolar, covalent Tori in this game so far. At least as a playable character. Really hard to tell what's where in this place. It's just so topographic.
Into the shadows. Ready. Take it easy.
Oh, this place is nice.
Janaki? We'd like to ask you a couple of things about Siraj.
Oh,
Ilyas? Do you know me? I'm sorry, but I don't recognize you.
Are you playing dumb with me?
No, I'm not. I actually have amnesia, so I've lost a lot of my memories.
And? Are you trying to say that I should forgive you just because you've forgotten what you've done? Or are you using the acting Grand Sage as backup to settle things with me? The two biggest loners teaming up. What a terrible thought.
That's enough. There seems to be a dispute between the two of you, but I have no interest in that. I heard that Siraj once invited you to join his project. Is that true?
So, what if it is? Siraj did extend an invitation to me, and I was also interested in his project. I think it was about collective consciousness or something. Anyway, he said that I could be number 45. I refused because I thought that rank was too low. No one wants to be placed at the bottom. Certainly not me.
Ilyas is number 36, and Janaki was supposed to be number 45. Ugh, just how many people did Siraj have his eyes on?
Tell me, did Siraj tell you how he assigned numbers?
Yeah. Remember how the sages took advantage of the Akasha and extracted Yana energy from our heads back then? They left a document that records the amount of Yana energy that the Akasha had extracted from each person. I don't know how Siraj got his hands on that document, but he used it as the basis for his numbering system.
I see. He believes that this data can be used to evaluate a person's computing power.
That's unlikely to be
Putting
true.
aside the validity of the data, it is meaningless to judge individuals based solely on their Jnana energy.
At most, Jnana energy can only be seen as representing a portion of a person's abilities. Humans are complicated beings, so it is impossible to evaluate them using a single criterion.
See? I knew I couldn't have only been ranked as 45.
What else do you know about Siraj?
That's it. He came to me, I refused, and that was the end of it. Is there anything else you needed? If not, I'm out of here. I've had enough of this eyesore.
Please, wait. I still want to know what I did in the past.
You really forgot?
I swear, I don't remember anything.
Paimon can vouch for him. The mantra also said that he truly lost his memories.
I see. You know what? It's better this way. I get angry just thinking about it, so I really don't have the patience to fill you in. All you need to know is that you got a lot of people in trouble back then, including me. That's all I have to say. Goodbye.
Okay. Well, that was not very
And
informative.
she's gone. She doesn't seem to like you very much. Do you really not remember anything?
I really don't. But after she said that, I've had this heavy feeling in my chest. I guess I did something really horrible.
Do you want to remember?
Huh?
Even though you're a witness against Siraj in this case, you've also lost your memory. No one can force you to remember if you don't want to. Even if you manage to remember, all you would need to do is feign ignorance and tell us that you tried the best you could, but to no avail.
I'm not sure what to do. Like I said before, for some reason I felt a sense of freedom when I realized I had lost my memories. But I feel like I shouldn't be allowed to go free so easily. I still want to remember everything. What should I do?
I can look up your file. Something that caused trouble for a lot of people in the past must be on file somewhere. Would you like me to look into it?
Yes, please.
All right, then let's return to the House of Dana. We've spent enough time here, and you should go and get your paycheck.
What? But I think it's really...
Loaded.
Let's split up for now. Ilyas, you go and get your paycheck. The rest of you, come to the archives with me. We'll meet back here later and then head over to Gandharvaville.
Okay. Thank you all so much.
Relax, Ilyas. Being nervous accomplishes nothing.
That's true. I'm ready. No matter what I've done, I'm ready to face it. I'll also try my best to remember anything else related to Siraj. We'll put an end to all of this.
I'm holding you to that. See you later. Okay. The important files from the last few years should all be here.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Anyway, I found Ilyas's file. Let's meet downstairs.
What have I done?
This file indicates that you were once commended by the Academia for your courage and sense of justice. You were considered a hero.
Huh? Me?
Yes. Your instructor was engaging in academic fraud, and you were the one who reported him. Your report was found to be true after a series of investigations, and your instructor was brought to justice by the Matra. This incident caused quite the commotion, and the Academia sent you a commendation. What is it? Are any memories coming back to you?
No, it's just... my head feels like it's being ripped apart again. It hurts. Did I seriously do that? Then why?
Let's put this matter aside for now. It isn't directly related to Siraj, so there's no need to push yourself over it.
I'm sorry. That should have been something good to hear, but my body is instinctively rejecting it. I feel like I'll black out if I try to remember.
Take it slow. Recovering memories is no easy task, especially when it involves memories that you don't want to remember. Just do what you think is right.
Thank you. I'm not sure how you're so calm and composed all the time, but it does make me feel more confident about the situation I'm in.
Let's head to Gandharvaville and deliver Ilyas's paycheck to his sister. Come on!
Oh, that's why.
Take it easy.
We should be close. Let me think. It should be this way.
Ilyas, what are you doing back here?
Dad, it's nothing. I was just wondering how everyone was doing.
You sure everything's okay? Did they bully you again? It's all right. You can tell us. Ilyas, what's wrong?
I'm fine. Just a minor headache. I haven't been getting much rest lately.
Back then, I told you not to be a hero. Look how things turned out. I can't imagine how things are going for you at the Academia. We've even been receiving threat letters.
You don't have to force yourself to stay at the Academia. You can always come back home.
I'm all right. I just need a little rest.
Ilyas doesn't seem like he wants them to know that he has amnesia.
Hey! That's enough, you two. Ilyas isn't feeling well. You can keep nagging him once we get home. Ilyas, let's find somewhere to talk. So, how's your headache?
It's much better now. Oh, here. It's this month's paycheck. How's everything at home?
Same old, same old. It's just that everyone's worried about you. Don't mind their nagging. Deep down, they know that you did the right thing. It's just that after hearing a lot of bad rumors about you and seeing all the threatening letters, well, they're mom and dad. Maybe they just want you to conform a bit more.
Conform.
Yeah. You don't remember? After the incident, you... Ilyas? What's wrong?
Ah, I see. I remember now. Don't worry,
You're acting a little weird today, you know? Anyway, I understand your decision. But Mom, Dad, and I just want you to be happy. I don't care if you're a hero or not. I just want you to enjoy life and relax more.
Your understanding is a great comfort to him.
Is it? That's good. Are you a friend of his?
Not quite.
More so these two. My name is Alhaitham, and this is the Traveler in Paimon.
Oh, that rings a bell. At any rate, I feel more at ease knowing that my brother has friends. Would you like to join us for dinner? I just happened to buy some extra food.
Sorry, but I still have things I need to take care of.
Well, that's a shame. Okay, I'll get going then. Take care of yourself, Ilyas.
Don't worry. I won't do anything to make you guys worry again.
You remember now?
Yes, I do. Thanks for that. You know, you don't seem like such a bad person.
Is that your way of conveying gratitude?
Oh, my apologies. But I meant every word. Remember when I asked at the tavern if we had ever met? I said that there was a sense of familiarity, but what I really meant was a sense of loathing.
Loathing?
Yeah, but having spent some time with you, I realized that you're not someone I dislike to that extent. Strange, isn't it? Why did I have those thoughts at that time?
You were part of
My
the hive
strength is
mind
that I don't care
experiment.
about what others think. If you could also develop this quality, then you won't be as bothered by complicated social relationships.
He was part of the hive mind experiment. His loathing of Alhaitham isn't his own.
It'd be great if I could think like you. But first things first. I remember where Siraj's cave is now. I'll take you there.
Really? That's great! Paimon remembers that you said there are 2 things that you had to do. We've only checked off 1, right? What about the other one? Are we not gonna do that first?
There are more important things at hand. We have to stop Siraj before he completes his collective consciousness, or it'll be too late.
You're right. Let's head out.
For the next interview, I think I'll start with these questions. Take it easy.
This is the place.
It's so well hidden. But there's nothing spooky about it. Let's go inside and take a look.
Don't tell me they did it again.
Alright, already have the set. Elemental Mastery is not the best, but should be able to put out a lot of damage.
Weird. It's bigger on the inside than Paimon imagined. Are you sure it's still a work in progress? Ilyas, do you remember this place? Huh? Ilyas! Where'd he go?
I don't sense him nearby.
Did he get separated from us? Should we wait here or turn around and look for him?
There's no need for that. Let's keep moving.
Alright. We'll continue in and see if he catches up to us.
Okay, so instant Dendro infusion.
Flicker.
It's okay, Ilyas. You've done more than enough for me already.
I don't understand. Everyone knows that Johnny is stealing your research. Why is no one willing to go public with the truth? He shamelessly used your thesis to send in a project application, and whenever the project hits a wall, he asks you for help. Everyone knows what's going on.
Do you know how many people are working on that project? If Johnny was kicked out because of academic fraud, that'd be the end of the project. Too many people would be affected.
But he's obviously taking advantage of you! He throws you the hardest work, and after you're done pulling all-nighters, he struts around with your research data and takes credit for it. That's not right! Why are you putting up with this?
A lot of people warn me to not say anything, and I think they have a point. This is just how things are. All I want is to graduate without any problems. It's okay. He's at least paying me.
Half a year of your time and effort. Countless all-nighters and casual threats and insults. All for a measly 20,000 mora? He's treating people like cattle.
Enough.
That is nothing.
It's fine. I just need to suck it up and get it done.
What's the matter? Huh? You could read minds this whole time and you never told Paimon?
Of course not. I was also able to see those memories just now. They were probably the ones that leaked out while Ilyas was connecting to the collective consciousness.
Connecting collective consciousness?
It's clear that this place isn't a work in progress. The hive has long been finished. The Collective Consciousness project is already complete, and Ilias is now returning to the Collective. Not entirely. Keep walking and you'll see why.
Take it easy. Things are about to get dicey.
Stand with me! It's completely different from what Ilias said. This place looks like it's been done for a while.
Contributing to the collective by only thinking to your strengths. How easy.
Alhaitham. Just thinking of that name fills me with hatred. We must get rid of him.
Well, that confirms that hypothesis.
Take it easy.
An entire year's worth of work down the drain. And for what? Your reputation? Do you have any idea how many people you brought down?
You could have played hero any time, so why couldn't you have waited until the project was complete?
I don't understand what you guys are saying. Are you saying you don't care that Raju jumped to his death?
It's a shame. What happened to him? I thought he was stronger than that. Everyone has been working hard to complete the project. He could have endured for a bit longer. But he chose now, of all times, to...
In any case, we're done with you. Because of your recklessness, the Matra are putting Johnny on trial. This project is done for. None of this affects you at all. But do you know how many people, myself included, needed this project to complete their studies? Now our futures are up in the air. If worst comes to pass, we might not be able to graduate. Do you understand now?
I'm sorry.
There's no need for an apology. It's not like I'll accept it anyway. You'll pay for this.
Hey, you're blinking out again. What did you see this time?
Don't jump to conclusions just yet. Save your words for when we see him.
Alright, I am thoroughly disgusted right now. that's not happening again.
Alias, this is all very strange. Is there really no research group that will take you? Well, to pass this course, you must complete a paper with other researchers. I know you're a hero for fighting academic fraud, but well, we can't make exceptions for heroes, now can we? Maybe you should try to improve your relationship with the other researchers. Getting a reputation for being too unconventional will not stand you in good stead in the long run.
I understand.
You seem troubled.
Who are you?
Where are my manners? My name is Siraj.
Siraj? I've heard of you before. Do you need something from me?
The world hates people who don't fit in. I imagine you've had your fair share of trouble. After you reported Johnny for academic fraud, you were ostracized and shunned. Even your family can't understand your actions. However, I'm working on some research that will help you merge into a collective. That way, your life won't be so dolorous. How about it? Wanna have a go?
Oh, I am so fucking pissed.
What did you see?
Paimon can't believe it! He really did trick us! That Giga Jerk! No, Siraj is the real Giga Jerk here. Ilias is just a regular jerk. Ooh, Paimon's so mad! We're gonna find him, and we're gonna make him explain himself!
Take it easy.
Ilias!
You've come. I intentionally slowed my integration into the collective consciousness because I wanted to see you one last time as Ilias. And I wanted to apologize to you as him. It was only at Gandharvaville that the second thing I must do occurred to me. Bring you all here. To throw off the Matra and bring Alhaitham to the Hive. That was my task as Siraj number 36.
He broke.
You were already Siraj number 36? But you passed the Matra's lie detector test!
Yes, I truly did forget many things during that time, even my identity and assigned responsibilities. However, it's not that I got scared and forgot. I chose to delete those memories. It's difficult to fool Alhaitham, so I had to create the perfect guise for myself.
And the best guise is when you believe your own lies.
Correct. I only told you that the Hive was incomplete because I had deleted my memories of its completion. It was finished a long time ago. Before I left, I was already living as number 36. Now, I choose to return to that identity. Only here can I be truly free. That's all I wanted to say. After I enter this room, my consciousness will merge back into the collective. And so, this is goodbye.
Is this your decision?
Or is it the collectives?
Yeah, the person we know is Ilias, not Siraj number 36. The outside world is painful sometimes, but Paimon doesn't think that's a reason to run away.
Do you need more time to consider, Ilias?
Hey, who are...
That is Siraj.
So you're that Giga Jerk!
Giga Jerk? How bold of you. Have I done something to offend you?
You!
I modified Akasha terminals to allow users to share memories and emotions. Then, I recruited researchers from the academia to build a collective consciousness. I assigned numbers to everyone and divided the experiment's tasks amongst themselves. Here, people can live easily and happily without needing to exercise complex mental thought. This is what they have chosen. All I've done is fulfill their wishes.
You're just trying to justify yourself!
Then I ask you, what's the difference between here and the outside? There are researchers at the academia who engage in dangerous research in extreme environments while others become idle and listless. People are so obsessed with collective will that even those on the fringes will attempt to fit in after suffering setbacks. Isn't that right, Ilyas? There's no need to deny this, as it is fact. It is natural for social creatures to conform, and the terminus of conformity is a collective consciousness through which even an ordinary bee colony can become a powerful swarm. Replace the bees with humans, and this model becomes even more potent. Welcome to the hive, Alhaitham. You once arrogantly denied the merits of this project before the Grand Sage. A few simple words from you, and my research was consigned to nothingness. Of course, I'm well aware that you don't care about any of this. You don't care about the pain of others. But I didn't give up. I made my thesis into reality.
When we arrived, I noticed many empty rooms in the hive.
Oh, you noticed that? Then can you guess where their inhabitants are?
Stirring up
The
trouble.
answer is the academia. They're executing another phase of the plan. The plan to install me as a sage. The collective consciousness links all of us into a single mind, showcasing our individual strengths as we work together. We are able to execute complex undertakings while instantaneously modifying our strategies in response to unexpected situations. Everything has been proceeding smoothly. You are our biggest obstacle. With you out of the way, I'll use my growing influence to turn the collective consciousness into a legitimate study. The project will snowball until ultimately everyone will be part of my hive. No. The hive will be in control. And it will lead the academia towards a new future.
We won't let you do this!
What can you achieve with mere words? You weren't even able to change Ilyas's mind. Return to the hive, number 36.
Yes.
Wait! Don't go back! Look! There are lots of people out there worried about you. And you aren't an outcast. Aren't we your friends?
That's easy for you to say, given that you're travelers. Will you two continue to stay at the academia? When you leave, tragedy will repeat itself. Return, number 36. You know as well as I do that comforting words don't make life any easier.
Ilyas? Why?
You two are just as arrogant as Alhaitham. You think that everyone should be like you and live according to their own truths. But you don't realize that most people simply want easy lives. I allowed number 36 to leave the hive without his memories only because I knew he would eventually return. This proves that I know more about human nature than you do.
Oh, you don't know
Alhaitham,
anything. He's
do
going in
say
to
a word or
betray you.
two. I will consider them as your last.
I made those words quite clear a year ago. The model you presented was extremely unstable. No amount of garish packaging will change its fragile nature. It can't be helped. If you were clever enough to realize those problems, then you would have been aware that the hive changed when Ilyas returned to this collective consciousness of yours.
What?
What's happening?
He went in to sabotage everything.
The collective needs motivation to execute its plans, just as machinery requires energy to operate. That's why you, as the Overmind, synchronized your hatred of me into the collective, prompting them to create and execute a plan to eliminate me. However, when Ilyas returned to the collective, his memories and emotions were shared with the rest of its members. This includes his perception of me.
Thanks for that. You know, you don't seem like such a bad person. Strange, isn't it? Why did I have those thoughts at that time?
This contradicts the hatred you had provided them, and these two differing emotions will give rise to new conflict.
So that's it. Wait, so you knew that Ilias would return to the hive? And then you pretended to keep him around just to fool Siraj.
Okay, so it is possible that Ilias didn't know he was about to mess things up. Okay.
Wouldn't expect any less from you all, Hatham. Once the collective consciousness bugs out, we'll take that opportunity to... wait. It's back to normal already.
All Hatham, I told you. You're too arrogant. Did you really think that your little scheme would be enough to destabilize the hive? Ilias's return had indeed introduced abnormal emotions into the hive, but such a meager drop cannot give rise to waves. Your struggle has been in vain, and it's time to end it. Allow me to show you what makes the collective consciousness so formidable.
So many monsters. Where did they come from? And something feels off about them.
I also integrated monsters into the collective, though I ranked them last. Even so, they are part of it. Despite their lack of intelligence, perfect cooperation can be achieved, much like soldiers who have undergone strict training. Now then, drown in endless waves of monsters. You will all pay for your ceaseless arrogance.
Hey, Hatham? Your plan didn't work, so what do we do now?
I've already sent my gift to the collective. It'll take some time for the recipient to receive it. You two just need to brace yourselves for the nuisance in front of us.
Well, all right. Paimon doesn't know how you get so confident, but we'll hold them off for as long as we can. Everyone hold hands.
Busted. Our bond is strong.
Here you are.
All Hatham isn't that bad of a person.
But it has to be done. He must... You see? That is the will of the collective. Even with the hatred gone, they continue their work. An external anomaly cannot shake the collective's stability.
Make yourselves at home. I'm seeing stars. I see everything.
No!
Here comes the catch.
He won't hold out for much longer.
He's a lot tougher than we imagined.
Something's gone wrong at the Academia. The Matra.
Let's light it up!
Committed to memory.
What's going on? What's with this sudden influx of information? Silence! As the Overmind, I command you!
The Temple of Wisdom.
Things are about to get dicey. Stand with me! Out of my way!
How is that possible? Why hasn't it been resolved yet?
Is there an error in our judgment?
The will of the collective cannot be wrong. The Overmind must have made an error in his judgment.
But Siraj is the most intelligent among us. He is number one. His judge... What have you done?
Calm down. Don't you have an easy way to figure this out? You were only designated as number 36? What a shame. From what I can see, your talents merit a smaller number. Putting aside the validity of the data, it is meaningless to judge individuals based solely on their jnana energy.
What you said to Ilias has now become a memory shared by all members of the Hive. I see it now! You've channeled and amplified their selfish desires! You're trying to destroy my hive from the inside out!
Human minds are not infinitely pliable, and your hive has stretched many of them to their limit. Once your authority as Overmind starts to wane, it won't be long before your subjects snap back. Is it worth living here like a machine? Being a tool for the rest of my life? As soon as one person begins to have these thoughts, selfishness, doubt, and fear will propagate, thanks to the web of consciousness that you built. At this stage, your so-called hive has already fallen.
It's not over yet. I am the Overmind! There has to be a way!
It's too late. Once the desires of the hive accumulate, beyond a certain threshold, they will kill their king.
I wouldn't have suffered such a disgraceful defeat if I was the Overmind.
My numbers shouldn't be so far down in the list! Siraj is alive!
This isn't what we agreed to!
I should be the one in your position!
The hive shut down? What happened just now?
Members of a collective consciousness are more likely to reach a consensus because of their shared memories and emotions. For example, Ilias did have differing perceptions, but he ultimately followed the collective consciousness's judgment. However, this system is far from perfect. Based on this logic, the collective consciousness will generate an intractable diffusion effect upon encountering negative emotions. The disturbance that Ilias caused wasn't for naught. It made the collective question the Overmind.
Setbacks in the plan further amplify doubt, which diminishes the Overmind's influence. This inevitably causes the collective to generate negative emotions.
Apprehension, disappointment, panic, avarice. These negative emotions can be very well hidden, as humans generally do not share completely transparent channels of communication. But in the hive, where there are no secrets, negativity can spread like a tidal wave. Of course, what I said to Ilias was the trigger for all of this. A few words were enough. Believe in the power of words, Siraj.
You were already thinking of a way to destroy the collective consciousness. Even back then. You knew that Ilias was the bait all along? But how did you know? Since when?
I knew it from the moment I saw him. Moreover, I never looked down on you. My opinion of you has always been objective. You have a naive view towards the concepts of collective consciousness and human evolution, but you are intelligent and disciplined. You would never let a test subject escape. Mistakes like that are beneath you, and you also won't leave any mistake without a resolution.
I never thought I'd hear those words come from you. But if you're saying that out of sympathy, spare me. I know very well that you've never viewed me as an equal. When you were with us, you always had a distant look in your eyes. You don't need to hide it. I know it better than anyone else. The arrogance that comes with being a genius. Nobody likes being treated like that.
Your perspective is entirely born from your habitual way of looking at things. From your perspective, you probably think I'm like you, someone who doesn't fit in. However, I've never placed myself on a pedestal. I just want to distance myself from meaningless noise and look at everything objectively. On the other hand, you have failed to come to terms with who you truly are. You care too much about winning and how others perceive you.
You mean to say that I'm the arrogant one here?
Is that not so? Arrogant and emotionally fragile. You view people as a simple, mediocre collective, while you regard me as one of your kind.
Regardless, I have lost. You can take me back to the academia to stand trial.
You will stand trial, yes. But arresting people isn't in my job description. I'm just an ordinary staff member. I believe it is the General Mahamatra's duty to escort you away.
Oh, that's the mission Sino was on.
Sino? What are you doing here?
I followed the symbols. Looks like things have already been settled.
Symbols?
I left a similar picture in my letter to him, and I made several similar symbols on the way here.
Wait, what do you mean you left a letter? Oh, Paimon remembers! When Paimon first saw you, Arav said that you had left a letter for Sino. So you really did know that something was up with Ilias from the start! You lied to us too!
It'd be best if you didn't spout nonsense. I never employed any mode of trickery on you. By the way, I came across some information at the Academia a few days ago. If you practice the method discussed therein, your vision may improve. Do you need it?
Seriously? This guy. By the way, Sino, Paimon heard that Siraj sent more people to the Academia. We can't let those jerks get away!
Don't worry. The Matra have started screening suspicious persons, and we've already arrested many of Siraj's associates. This was likely one factor that caused the Hive's consciousness to waver. Everything went as you predicted, Alhaitham.
Good. Seems like the interesting part is already over. I'll leave the arrests to you all.
Board down.
See you.
Leaving.
And off he goes. There still are a lot of test subjects here, so let's stick around for a while.
Take it easy.
Oh no. Oh no. I was involved in all these plans to get rid of the acting Grand Sage? What came over me? How could I do something like this?
We were accomplices without knowing it. But I'm afraid that Alhaitham might pressure the Matra into giving us heavier sentences. Whether he's the scribe or the acting Grand Sage, we can't afford to offend him. It seems our future at the Academia will be full of uncertainties.
We can discuss the future later. Leaving the collective left me with a strange sense of guilt. I didn't feel anything towards Alhaitham at first, since he wasn't well known. All the opinions I heard about him were negative, though. Siraj made us hate Alhaitham, and we blindly accepted that hatred and thought of him as a bad person. From how things look, we've done a lot of irrational things.
I guess we're getting what we deserve. Could you help us apologize to Alhaitham?
He literally would not care.
Sure, Paimon will help you tell Alhaitham, but whether he chooses to forgive you is up to him.
It's okay. No matter what he chooses, apologizing will make us feel slightly better. If he chooses to remember this, we're prepared for our punishment.
It's time to go.
Let's go.
So, were they all duped? We can ask Alhaitham about that later.
They were all enticed.
Looks like I can't exist as Siraj number 36. Yet, my life as Ilyas goes on. When I was at Gandharvaville, I thought about whether I should just come forward with the truth. But I didn't have the courage then. So in the end, I lost my sense of justice, but I also wasn't able to conform.
Ilyas?
Don't be sad. I'm the one who deceived you. However, I didn't come out of this completely empty-handed. The moment the hive collapsed, an idea popped into my head. I realized that the collective I was always trying to fit into wasn't as powerful as I had imagined. Understanding that gave me courage somehow. Perhaps one day I could be just like Alhaitham and not care about what anyone else thinks.
You can do it. Paimon believes in you.
Thanks. Well, I should get going. I'm one of the primary suspects in the case, so I'll have to receive my due punishment. Can you keep this a secret from my parents and my sister? I just don't want them to worry. Also, please apologize to Alhaitham for me. Goodbye, you two.
All the test subjects have been taken away. I'll have my subordinates seal the place, retrieve all documentation, and destroy the system. Are you two hurt? I brought bandages and hemostatics.
Paimon's fine. Just a little tired.
Get some rest. Alhaitham is probably waiting for you at the entrance. Go see him when you're done here. Watch out for any of Siraj's associates who might still be in hiding. If you encounter anything you can't take care of, come find me at the Academia.
Okay, you stay safe too, Sino. Let's go meet up with Alhaitham.
The matter's settled. We can return now. I actually thought it would have been settled sooner. This took much longer than I expected. Judging by your faces, it seems like you two still have some questions. I respect your curiosity, but I'm off the clock now, so I'm not going to field any questions.
Hey, we're not your colleagues!
You couldn't tell that was an excuse just now?
What? Are you kidding me? You're not leaving today until you explain what happened back at Siraj's secret base!
See ya.
Hold it right there!
Are you done? Your behavior is reminding me of some other people.
Stop changing the subject!
I'm sorry, what?
It's too much of a hassle to explain everything from the top. You know what? Come with me.
Where to?
You'll know when we get there.
Take it easy.
Is this your home?
Yes.
What's with you all of a sudden? Being all polite and inviting us over?
No, there's Kaveh.
Ah, you're back. Quick, come help me see if this painting's all straightened. Huh? Who are they?
Stop making a fuss. They're obviously guests.
You're not from the Academia, are you?
No.
I'm unsure she's seen you before. You're that person from that time in that one place!
Wait, what? How do you know me? Oh no, do people know that I live here?
What? You're embarrassed only now of all times?
Oh, you guys are roommates!
Yes we are, but keep that to yourselves. Please, don't tell anyone else.
I keep a few books on collectives and the subconscious here at home. I'll get them. You all chat in the meantime.
Hey!
Hey! You're leaving just like that? What's the deal, Alhaitham? Sorry, I know we've only just met, but I have to ask. Are you, you wouldn't happen to be actors that Alhaitham hired to pretend to be his friends, would you?
What?
Guess not. I've never seen him invite friends home before, so please excuse my surprise. You guys get it, right? You know, with his temperament and stuff.
But aren't you friends with him?
I wouldn't say friends exactly. Okay, well, we used to be, but we're not anymore.
Huh?
Don't worry about it. My name is Kaveh. I'm sorry to have met you under these circumstances. Anyway, please don't say anything about me living here.
You seem like you got a lot going on. So maybe Samora will make Paimon shut up.
Paimon?
Are you serious? How could you? Of course. You're Alhaitham's friends.
What? That was a normal response. You exposed your own weakness.
Still, why do you have to treat me like he does?
Judging by the deafening din coming from the living room, you all must be getting along quite well.
Entertain your own friends, why don't you?
I'll leave the books here.
Yep.
Paimon's dizzy from reading. This is way too complicated. Why don't we just ask questions instead? Paimon wants to know, oh, how did you know about the collective consciousness's weakness?
A year ago, Siraj presented his thesis to the Grand Sage, who offhandedly asked for my opinion. I actually responded with 2 lines of reasoning. The first, as I've already said, was that his research was on human evolution, a subject prohibited by the academia. The second was that I thought the direction of his research was too extreme, but his approach too conservative.
Wait, that's too conservative? He built such a large lab, gathered all those people, and even tried to get rid of you!
One way to stabilize a collective consciousness is to remove the test subject's humanity altogether. The optimal solution to achieve collective consciousness is to focus solely on the overmind and treat the other test subjects as tools.
That's way too dangerous. You're not seriously considering that, are you? 'Cause,
I'm merely stating the facts. If Siraj had done that, I would have felt his work to be just as senseless. It's impossible for any species to evolve overnight, and humans without their humanity cannot be called humans. That's why the academia prohibited research into human evolution. Most research of this kind tends to run contrary to evolution.
Huh. Paimon gets it now.
Ha! That's rich coming from you. If humans aren't humans without their humanity, then you'll probably evolve into some other species in another decade, I wager.
What about you? Are you going to devolve into a fungus?
At least I'd be a fungus with empathy. Sorry for eavesdropping, but what happened to you guys? Are you in trouble?
Sort of. We encountered a strange researcher that had it out for us.
Mostly for him.
Are you all okay?
To be more precise, they had it out for Alhaitham.
Huh. So that's how things went. Such is life. If only he'd known, Alhaitham could have stayed indoors today, and the whole thing could have been avoided, right? Plus, he could have helped me with the housework for once. See those books? They've been sitting there waiting for someone to sort through them for an age. If you're not gonna read them, tidy them away. They don't belong there.
Can you feel the awkwardness in the air? I hope you're aware of your lack of conversational skills.
Oh, so the pot's calling the kettle black, is he? Well, having said all that, are you okay?
I'm doing quite well. Much better than that painting you're trying to hang on the wall.
You don't understand anything. Stop criticizing my taste in decoration.
Kaveh is upset.
Paimon can't tell which of them is more problematic. Let's just get this over with and leave.
You whisper very loudly.
Oh, yeah, Paimon's been told that.
Do you have any more questions?
Let Paimon think. Oh, by the way, the other researchers apologized to you. They hope that you can forgive them.
I bear them no ill will. More accurately, I don't really care about what they think of me.
Yep,
to some extent, they were also fooled by Siraj. The Matra will take this into account at their trials.
Ilias also said that he wanted to tell us the truth at Gandharvaville, but he didn't have the courage. He apologized to you, too.
It doesn't matter. I never considered asking him to come forward with the truth. Judging from his experiences, he's more courageous than the average person. There's no need to lay even more criticism on him. Criticizing the brave only shows how weak you yourself are. I'm going for dinner in 10 minutes, so I'll field one last question.
Paimon doesn't have any more questions. How about you? Oh, yeah, that's a good question. You only started investigating with the Matra at the Academia because you were interested in something, right? But after meeting Siraj, it didn't seem like you were interested in him or his experiment.
I had no interest in him personally, but I was curious as to why so many people were willing to form a collective consciousness with him. I now understand the reason. Correct. The fall of the Sages and the shutdown of the Akasha terminals deeply affected the Academia. The fact that Siraj's project attracted so much interest despite not being approved speaks to the lack of research projects as of late. As the acting Grand Sage, I'll have to figure something out. In addition, what happened to Ilyas is worth our attention. Reporting academic fraud was the right thing to do. He didn't deserve the outcome that he had received.
Paimon understands now. Oh, you're pretty serious when it comes to work, huh?
I think minimum viable seriousness is a more apt description. I'll do my best to take care of this mess until my resignation is approved.
Wait, your resignation?
You don't want to be
Yes,
acting head sage.
I've already submitted my resignation to the Academia. Soon, I'll resign as the acting Grand Sage and go back to being its scribe. I don't think Siraj knew about that. If he had waited just a few more days before acting, I would have already resigned. What he'd do then wouldn't have been any concern of mine. However, even without my input, his unstable model would have collapsed for some other reason, so it makes no difference.
But why do you want to resign?
I'm not suited to be a sage, nor do I want to be one. The official process to select the new sages is already underway, but this process is long and takes far too much time.
Wait, you just
If I
said the
serve
same
as
thing
acting
twice.
Grand Sage for too long, the position might become permanent. That would be troublesome. This job isn't something I want to spend the rest of my life doing. It's important to keep your priorities straight. Well, it's about time. You two should grab some dinner as well.
Oh, now that you say that, Paimon's kinda hungry. See ya! We're gonna grab some yummies!
See ya.
The name Siraj doesn't ring a bell. Was he in your class?
He isn't someone who would leave an impression, so it's expected that you don't remember him.
I've always had a hard time appreciating the way that the Academia pressures people by labeling them as geniuses. But even so, the Academia can't be left to you. Or perhaps I should say that I'm delighted to see that you have a base amount of self-awareness. If the people in the Academia haven't gone mad, they'd know that I'm much more suited to be a sage than you.
And I suppose they'd let everyone know that your career as a sage will be as shaky as that painting.
Again, that's mighty rich coming from someone about to resign. In a few days, you'll be managing files again. You'll be back at rock bottom.
But my salary will likely stay the same.
What?
Wait, what? How come? Why do you get special treatment?
At least I don't have to be an architectural designer who works himself to death just to get a smile from his client.
You... I took time out of my day to clean the living room for you, and this is the thanks I get for it? I'd have been better off catching up on my work. I still have designs to finish.
Oh, we know who wears the
Make
pants
sure
in
to
this
pay back
family.
the rent you owe me. I'm going to buy some furniture with that Mora.
What? Are you trying to annoy me to death? The decorations you buy keep getting uglier and uglier. What's the point of having a boring wood carving in your house?
You'll have to blame that on my financial freedom.
Fine. Go ahead and hide behind your financial success if you want. But if we forget Mora for a second, do you have anything of true value to boast about?
I think I'd have too many choices, to be honest. You, on the other hand, can you think of any redeeming features at all?
Artistry, for sure. You don't know the first thing about interior design. Don't go off buying random furniture unless you take me with you.
So I'll have to bring you along and then buy you drinks?
Of course.
But why would I do that? It would just be another form of a loan, and you'd have to pay me back eventually.
Can't you just be nice and not ask for the Mora back?
No.
Pretending that you're not in debt is as ridiculous as pretending you're not living in someone else's home. Word will get out sooner or later.
Speaking of which, your friends won't say anything, right? Tell them to keep all this a secret.
There's no need to hide it so carefully. I think the truth's already out. You're such a lightweight that a few drinks at the tavern had you spilling all your beans.
What? No, it can't be. The name Siraj doesn't ring a...
He isn't someone who would leave an
I've always had a hard time appreciating the way that the academia pressures people by labeling them as geniuses. But even so, the academia can't be left to you. Or perhaps I should say that I'm...
And I suppose that...
Again, that's...
But my salary...
Wait, what?
At least I don't have to be an architectural designer who works himself to death just to get a smile from a...
You... I took time out...
Make sure to pay back the rent you owe me. I'm going to buy some...
What? Are you trying to annoy me to...
You'll have to blame that on my financial freedom.
Fine!
I think I'd have too many choices, to be honest. You, on the other hand. Can you think of any redeeming feature?
Artistry, for sure!
So I'll have to bring...
Of course!
But why would I do that?
Can't you just be...
Pretending that you're...
Speaking of which, your friends won't say...
There's no need to hide...
What? No, it can't be. Alhaitham isn't thinking about revealing my secret, is he? Jeez, why does he always have these horrible thoughts? Does he really want to mess with me that much? And what he said just now, does he know about my drunken scribbling? No. Wait, did someone tell him? Was it the people at the tavern or the liquor shop? Why, that owner, he promised to keep this a secret. Also, is it really true that I can't hold my liquor? I thought that impulsive speaking and writing were normal after a few drinks. Oh well. Everyone loves to write random stuff on the message boards anyway, so...
Hey!
There's dust on the bookshelves. I should tidy them up sometime and bring any unused books to the House of Dana.
So that does bother him. So Alhaitham's side and Kaze's side. Thank you for the mind reading opportunity. I was expecting out in the desert, but okay.
Our bond is strong.
Whoops.
Paimon's trying to remember. What else did we put on our shopping list? Oh, what a mouth-watering smell. Paimon would know the aroma of biryani anywhere. Let's go get some. We can still add it to the list.
Well, if it isn't the Traveler and Paimon. Wasn't expecting to see you here.
Hello there. Oh, it's been quite a while.
Huh. So you two are still hanging out together. Dia, didn't you say last time that you were gonna head back to the desert?
I said I was going to resign from being her bodyguard, not that our friendship was over. We're still the best of friends. The Holmayanis also still post jobs from time to time. Their pay is always generous, so me and the other mercs never pass them up.
I told Dia to just stay at our place when she took one of those jobs a few days ago. My parents were delighted. They even said that it always felt like we were missing someone whenever Dia wasn't around.
That sounds like something they would say, all right. They're always so welcoming. Anyway, the job is already taken care of, so I was gonna head back to the brigade as soon as I finished a little shopping. But the master kept insisting, and I ended up staying for another day.
You can stay for as many days as you want, Dia. Father hasn't even gotten around to treating you to his best dishes yet.
You know I'm not the kind of person to stay put in one place like that, my lady. Don't worry, though. There'll always be next time.
But she said they'll treat you to the best dishes! Paimon can't believe you can still refuse that!
But wait. Didn't you say last time that you would take me on a trip to the desert? Why don't you just take me with you today, when you leave? There are so many places I still haven't visited yet.
I'm sorry, my lady, but no can do. There's still a few things I need to take care of back at the brigade. Besides, the desert hasn't exactly been the most peaceful place lately.
Oh, come on. Not this again. That's also what you said last time and the time before that.
I know, I'm sorry. Just give me some more time, and I promise I'll plan the best trip ever for you.
All right, fine. To be perfectly honest, it's not that I wanted to go, it's more like I feel like something is off about you lately. Ever since you first set foot on the estate a few days ago, you've been acting anxious and even paranoid. Have you been delaying our trip because you've run into some kind of trouble?
Nah, are you kidding? You're worrying too much.
Would you swear on that? Friends shouldn't lie to each other, you know. I wouldn't pry any further if you're willing to swear on what you just said. But if something really is bothering you, then just tell me. You know I'll help you however I can.
Oh, looks like Dunyarzad was onto something.
You're too perceptive, my lady. Seems I can't hide anything from you. I just thought that nothing good could come out of telling you about the messy happenings of mercenaries. Knowing too much only leads to more trouble. Mercenary life is a dog-eat-dog world where Mora reigns supreme. Everything operates on a completely different set of rules.
That doesn't change anything about what I just said, though. We're still friends, and I can only support you if I understand what's bothering you.
My lady, you're not gonna stop until you drag it out of me, are ya? All right, I'll share what I know. Let's go somewhere else first. This isn't exactly the best place for a discussion. Okay, let's talk here. Just try not to draw any extra attention. As you may already know, the Eremites have both a lot of mercenaries and a complex organizational structure. Many mercs are no different than me, just going around looking for jobs to earn some mora. My brigade is called the Blazing Beasts. We're not a large group, but every member is loyal and brave. However, not all Eremite brigades are like mine. Some are willing to cross all kinds of lines for the sake of mora. The most notorious is a faction known as Deshret's Relics.
Deshret's Relics? Judging from the name, they must really look up to...
Yep, you got it. I've heard that you've already crossed paths with Ain al-Akmar. They're one of the groups under the Relic's banner.
Oh, you mean the group that tried to sell us the Divine Knowledge Capsule? Yeah, they weren't friendly at all.
Deshret's Relics is composed of many smaller brigades like Ain al-Akmar. The Relic's headquarters issues orders to all brigades under his control. On any other day, I would want nothing to do with them. Unfortunately, though, the brigade that's stirring up trouble now is none other than Dakan al-Akmar.
Dakan?
I think it means beard or something. Believe me, it's a really stupid name. I found it insufferable for years. Anyway, the real issue is that Dakan al-Akmar is led by my father, Kusela.
Say what now?
I think I'm starting to understand your anxiety now. But what did they do?
I won't go into details, my lady, but they've been involved in a lot of violent incidents. We're talking hundreds.
Hundreds?
Yep. The scenes tend to be quite gruesome, too. They strip the victims of all their valuables before murdering them. Not only have they targeted merchant caravans and ordinary citizens, but other mercenary brigades as well.
That's beyond terrible. They won't even spare their own kind.
I don't know how Deshret's relic sees it. All I do know is that Dakan al-Akmar has become more and more aggressive over the last few years. If I don't do something about them, then even my brigade or the people of Aru village could become their next target. I just wish I knew what's driven him to do this.
Yeah. How can your father do such terrible things?
I don't know. People change. He's always been pretty pathetic. But at least in the past, there were still a few lines that he would...
That's setting the bar pretty low.
I mean, if he was even remotely decent, then why would I have to leave the brigade and cut all ties with him? He was loud and foolish, with no real sense of purpose. Instead of doing anything useful, he spent most of his time drinking and chasing after women. Of course, the other brigade members were just like him. Their ruckus would go on night after night.
Sounds like a nightmare.
What about your mother? Did she ever step in to stop them?
Unfortunately, I never knew my mother.
I'm sorry, Dia. I didn't know.
It's all right, my lady. That's pretty common in mercenary circles. Didn't I mention that my father was chasing after women? I was the result of one of those encounters with some random person. He told me that he wasn't sure who my mother was. And in any case, she never came to see me. He'd say, "You'll be fine as long as you remember to stick with Dad." But even then, he left most of the parenting to the brigade. The one thing I do remember is that he used to tell me stories. But the problem was that he had terrible taste. He only knew a few stories, and even those tended to be pretty stale. They were tales of desert warriors defeating dragons in the forest, or stories of mercenaries rescuing princesses from rebel armies.
Sounds like your typical fairy tales.
More or less, yeah. They were interesting maybe the first or second time around, but after about 20 repeats, they started to get a little dull. He seemed to think those stories were the best things ever, though. He was so into them that he'd call the whole brigade over and make them perform the whole thing as a play. Even the toys he gave me would all be story props. I'd get helmets, shields, and toy swords. It was only much later when I realized that the shows were more for him than they ever were for me.
What an interesting guy.
Yeah, I've always found him pretty childish, but that was something I could just shrug off. I had no reason to despise him. Until I grew up and learned the true face of Deshret's relics for myself. Looting, blackmail, violence, and fraud. They not only accepted such heinous acts, they would even openly boast about them. No one in the brigade was any kind of hero. Instead, my father and his cronies were more like the bad guys that needed to be taken down. Did they really think that as long as they didn't do any of that stuff right in front of me, I would never know?
I think I can understand your feelings. The difference between perception and reality must have hit hard.
Yeah, but don't worry, my lady. It's all water under the bridge to me now. I had a huge argument with my father and left that place behind for good. I'm not investigating them due to any bitter feelings I still have towards my father. I just want to protect those that are close to me. Yeah, I told the boys to gather as much information as they could. Most of the reports concern violent incidents, but there's also some talk of smuggling.
I see. But isn't this investigation incredibly dangerous?
It is, but every mercenary lives life on the edge. It's a lifestyle that I enjoy.
That may be true, but it'll be impossible for those who care about you not to worry.
Well, now you get why I didn't want to share any of this with you.
What should we do? They both have valid concerns.
Huh? But there's no need for you to get caught up in this mess, too.
Well, she's super tough, so if she went into the desert with you, then Paimon bets the problem will be solved in no time.
I'm inclined to agree. I'd feel a lot more at ease if you took her along to help. I'll wait for news from you in the city until then. Please, stay safe.
I'm honored that you care so much for me, my lady. All right, then let's get moving. Our first stop will be Caravan Ribat, where we can catch up a bit with my fellow mercs.
Hey, Dia, you're back. Are these two friends of yours? Likewise. There's no need to be so formal with us. We're a pretty casual crew. Anyway, since we've got newcomers, let me fill you in on what Dakan al-Ahmar has been up to lately. They've become extremely aggressive. Apparently, even their own now have become acceptable targets. They even attack other relics brigades, just the same as any other mercenary brigade.
Even the most ferocious beasts still protect their own. But it sounds like they've thrown that straight to the wind.
That's right. Once they've collected enough loot off the other mercenaries, they sell it off to a different brigade, or turn to merchants on the black market. A portion of their profits is immediately exchanged for more food and weaponry to be used in their next violent operation.
That's terrible!
Yeah, and it really makes you wonder why they're so desperate for Mora. A few days ago, Isham and I trailed them for a while, and even disguised ourselves as merchants to conduct trade with them. We were able to learn a few things from the exchange. Rather than saying they're out to plunder and hoard Mora, it'd probably be more accurate to say that they're experiencing an internal power struggle.
Wait, a power struggle?
You heard me right. The vast majority of their victims are mercenaries from the other brigades of Deshret's relics. If their only goal was Mora, they could have gone after anybody. The targeted nature of their attacks points to a power struggle between the different brigades within the relics. That's the only plausible explanation we have. Unfortunately, we weren't able to find out anything more specific. It seems they're also trying to keep things under wraps. Oh, one last thing we discovered was that over the past few years, as Dakan al-Ahmar became more and more active, Deshret's relics as a whole became a lot weaker.
It sounds mighty strange to me too. Harun, you can leave the rest of the investigation to us. Gotta say though, I didn't expect you to go on a whole undercover mission during the few days I was gone. Sounds like you were really putting your necks on the line, no?
Nah, it was nothing. We're just as concerned about the situation as you are. The Dakan al-Ahmar is your father's crew after all.
What he said. Besides, Dia, haven't you done more dangerous things than all of us combined? What we did is nothing compared to your experiences.
Yeah. And while they went to talk with Dakan al-Ahmar, I took a look at the last camp they attacked. Any survivors of the attack were already long gone. There was nothing of value left in the camp.
Ah, Hisham and Khalaf. You're here too.
We rushed over as soon as we saw you come into Caravan Ribat. Although this new friend of yours looks a little green behind the ears, I'm sensing a special vibe from her. Now that we know you'll have a capable partner with you, we can also rest easy.
Hey, what about Paimon? Feel anything special?
Oh, you're also planning to tag along with them?
Of course! Paimon is the traveler's most important guide. Wherever she goes, Paimon will follow.
Oh. In that case, then you'd better take care of her too, Dia.
Don't underestimate Paimon!
Don't worry about her. She may look tiny and helpless, but she's been through just as many battles as the traveler here. Even if she had only survived on sheer luck, then that alone would still make her quite formidable.
I had no idea. I guess I shouldn't judge by appearances.
Oh, one other thing, Dia. When you're free, why don't you update the deputy about your upcoming schedule? We held another recruitment event a few days ago, but everyone only came to see the Flame Mane. You weren't around at the time, so people were pretty disappointed to only find our crew of rough, unkempt guys. The deputy put a lot of effort into the event, but it was basically for nothing. Only a few people chose to stay, and that really got to him.
Sorry to hear that. I'll be sure to bring him some great liquor next time. I left in a hurry, and I couldn't make it back in time for the event.
Gotta admit, I can understand their disappointment, though. You're our brigade's main selling point, after all. Now, if only the deputy could figure out a way to bring a few more smoking hot members into our ranks.
Keep dreaming. Remember the last time I invited a couple gals into the brigade? You all just froze up with your mouths gaping like a bunch of scarecrows. The awkward silence and weird expressions left quite the impression on them. They were originally interested in joining us, but after that, they both told me they were too uncomfortable to stick around.
Hey, didn't we agree to never bring that up again?
Huh? Wait, are you serious? Why have I never heard about this?
I don't think you were part of the brigade yet.
Are you kidding me? I missed a once-in-a-lifetime moment like that and you weren't even gonna tell me?
All right. We can tell you about it later. Now's not the time.
Hey, don't you try to change the subject. You and Hisham get your butts over here and tell me everything right now.
Are they always like this?
More or less. There aren't many rules or graces when it comes to mercenaries. We're used to just speaking our minds. If someone starts getting under your skin, you just yell right back at them. And if that doesn't put an end to it, then you just challenge them to a fight. But we also don't tend to take many things too seriously. Being direct and getting it all out of your system as soon as things come up is better than keeping everything bottled up, never talking about it. That's also why I never spare their feelings when I talk to them. If I want to laugh, I'll laugh. If I'm angry, then I'll unload on them. It's hard to stop once you get used to it. Though, I can never do that when I'm with the Homayanis. Hey, knuckleheads! Can you at least tell me the rest of the intel before you go back to your bickering?
Yeah, you hear her, Holloff? Told you we gotta focus on the investigation first. I drew up a map. Right here is the spot. There you'll find the merchant caravan responsible for getting rid of Dakan al-Akhmar's looted goods. All you gotta do is wait and ambush them in the evening. They'll have no idea what hit them.
Perfect. Thanks for that. Be sure to pass my regards to everyone else in the brigade as well.
Will do. You stay safe, Dia.
Right, Kaveh was locked earlier, but now it's unlocked. Have to do Farina for that one. And Farina for this one. Oh, I'm really close to the Nouvellette quest. Wait, it's over here?
Everyone hold hands!
This should be the place. Let's find a spot to hide and bide our time. It's gonna come down to a fight one way or another, so let's all be careful.
No need to worry. She knows her way around a fight.
I'm not worried about that. What I meant is that we probably shouldn't go too hard on the enemy. After all, we still need to get information out of them. Here they come. You ready? Let's not give them a chance to react and end this quickly.
I see everything.
Busted.
Buckle up!
You won this one.
Wow, that was fast.
Huh? You're the Flame Mane.
Good. That saves me an introduction. All right, time for a little talk. Are you buddies with Dakan al-Akhmar now? Tell me, what are they after?
You know the code of being a mercenary just like everyone else. The first rule is to never divulge key information about our employer. What makes you think I'd talk?
That might have worked on an amateur, but I know you're just looking to protect your reputation. Think about it, though. What's your reputation worth if you won't have the other tools you need to succeed in this line of work? Tools like, I don't know, your limbs or eyes? You've got 5 seconds. You might want to think twice about how much your employer's information is worth to you.
Whoa!
She knows what she's doing.
I'm not joking around. We can do this the easy way or the painful way. 2 seconds.
I'll save you the trouble.
Huh? Are you crazy? He tried to bite off his own tongue. Quick, search the area for any first aid supplies. I definitely didn't expect him to go that far. Thankfully, the wound wasn't too deep, and he just passed out from the pain.
But why would he be so extreme?
I just wanted to test his mettle. You can get a lot of mercenaries to talk just by threatening them. I didn't expect him to be willing to go through so much pain just to deny us some intel.
Well, he's out cold for now. We could wait for him to wake up, but maybe it's not a good idea to interrogate him any further. What should we do?
Yeah, don't worry about it. It'll be a waste of time to interrogate him again after that. He might just hurt himself again if we start asking. There are lots of goods around here. Let's search the area. Maybe we'll be able to find something. I'm really sorry.
We found a piece of paper with a bunch of names on it. Maybe it's a record of something.
Let me take a look. If this really is a merchant caravan, they should have a record of their transactions. Yep. I see an entry for Dakana Lakmar right here. Kusela, Idrisi, Bashar, and Takriti. All familiar names. Dakana Lakmar has been trading for a hefty supply of food, weapons, and medicine. It seems that in the past, they used to receive some canned knowledge as well. This caravan is just one link in their logistics chain. Once in the rainforest, the caravan will exchange the looted goods for Mora, and the funds will then be passed to a specific person. That person will then pack the caravan full of necessary goods, which will then be brought right back to Dakana Lakmar. Wait, why is there no Mora value recorded for the final transaction?
No value?
Yeah, every transaction before the last one was marked with an exact amount of Mora, but the final one, where they paid for everything to be brought back to the desert, was simply marked as delivered. Perhaps, but they couldn't have known how much they would make off selling the loot. Do they not care about profit margins at all? Anyway, the next part's the records of the goods themselves. There are a lot of entries. Everything was probably sourced from the rainforest. Huh?
What's wrong?
Shahzaman Homayani?
Homayani? You mean Dunyarzad's family? Could it just be another family with the same last name?
I'd be surprised to find someone with the exact same first and last name. Shahzaman Homayani is Dunyarzad's father, and the head of the Homayani family. Just what the heck is going on here? I'm sorry, you're right. I'll consider what we found and not jump to conclusions just yet. But what this piece of paper confirms is that the Homayani family has been providing goods to Dakana Lakmar.
What if the Homayanis have been kept in the dark and don't know they've been trading with Dakana Lakmar?
That's a possibility. But if that was the case, why is this caravan specifically named Shahzaman as their person of contact? They could have just as easily bought goods such as food and medicine directly from Caravan Ribat or Port Ormos. Yeah, funding violence and looting. The brigade gets the goods, and he is paid the proceeds from the sale of the loot.
But why would he do something like this? It's not like the Homayanis are in need of money.
I honestly have no idea. I've been to their estate many times, and I've never noticed anything suspicious. The only potentially large expenditure I could think of would be the treatment costs for Dunyarzad's Elazar. Maybe they borrowed a lot of Mora in the past, but that's still just a speculation. I don't think the Master would stoop so low to make Mora. You're probably right. I know my lady's personality, and she wouldn't deliberately keep something like this from us.
But what should we do now? All we found is just another mystery.
If you ask me, we already have no choice but to confront her about this. I'm not worried. It's too early to make a verdict yet. I still have faith in the Homayanis. Let's go find my lady again. We'll tell her everything and see if she's willing to lend us her support. If we're lucky, we can not only figure out the mystery of this paper, but also follow the trail of breadcrumbs to the people responsible at Dakan al-Akmar.
Dia, are you sure this is the best decision? What if instead of getting the help we need, we just end up revealing everything we've discovered to the enemy?
I've considered that possibility. But even still, I want to tell her what we found. I think I owe her that much. True friendship is built on trust. She showed genuine concern for me when we first brought up the topic. I can't repay her kindness with doubt and suspicion. That's not how I deal with people.
You're right. Paimon wants to trust Dunyarzad too.
Yeah. Let's pay another visit to Sumeru City.
Dissipate!
My blade will lead.
We're back, my lady.
Oh, you're back a lot sooner than I expected. You mustn't have run into any trouble then. Well, how did it go? What did you come up with?
Actually, we're still investigating. It's just that we've discovered something strange.
I see. The clues you found have led you back here, in the city?
Something like that, yeah.
You all look a little dispirited. Whatever you found must not have been very encouraging after all. Why don't you discuss it with me? Maybe I'll be able to say something to cheer you up?
It's okay, my lady. It's not so much about me being upset with my father or anything like that. How should I put this?
So something is wrong. Even the Traveler and Paimon have been uncharacteristically quiet. On any other day, Paimon would have already waved to me with a smile and shouted, "Dunyarzad, we're back!" So tell me, what happened?
Well?
My lady, please prepare yourself for what we're going to tell you next. It concerns the Master.
The Master? You mean my father? Okay, I understand. Don't worry about me. I'll listen as attentively as I can. My father has been supplying goods to Dakan al-Akmar?
Yeah, it makes as little sense to us as it does to you. I've never doubted the Master's integrity, so I'm having a real hard time rationalizing how he could ever support an infamous brigade like them. Maybe he's not actually aware of the full story and just stumbled into the deal by accident.
I can't help but agree with the Traveler.
Huh? You mean you feel the same way, Dunyarzad?
Thank you for sharing all this information with me. Since you've told me everything you know, I should also tell you about some doubts that I've been harboring for quite a while. In the past, I thought that my father hired a bodyguard for me so that I wouldn't run away and get lost. However, there are plenty of capable mercenaries in the Corps of 30. Why did my father go out of his way to hire Dia?
About that. Well, the Homayanis really needed bodyguards, so They reached out to the Blazing Beasts. Later, the Master told me that I was one of the best mercenaries he'd ever seen, and that I should stick around to become one of his bodyguards. He offered me a pile of mora, so I just signed on.
Well, but that didn't really answer my question. Just think about it. Why did my father specifically reach out to the Blazing Beasts?
Maybe the Corps of 30 just didn't have anyone available, or maybe someone recommended us. I've never given it too much thought. I think I get what you're saying. You'd think none of this was a coincidence.
Precisely. At first glance, nothing seems strange or out of place. But there are many parts of the story that don't actually make any sense. If my father had always been in contact with Dakan al-Akmar, then it would make sense for him to bring Dia into our house.
You mean the goal all along was to get Dia to be your bodyguard?
No, that's too much of a stretch. I cut all ties with my father a long time ago. He has no control over my life anymore.
But that still doesn't rule out the possibility that your father has still been trying to influence your life without you knowing.
So, the Master was not likely an innocent victim in all of this?
Sorry we put all of this on you so suddenly, Dunyarzad.
It's okay, Paimon. I should actually be thanking you. Regardless of his reasons, if my father has truly been funding a violent group of mercenaries, then it's my duty to bring him back to reason.
But is that really the right thing to do? My father has committed many atrocities and deserves all the punishment that he has coming to him. I have zero sympathy for him. You may call me an ungrateful child, but my feelings will remain the same. However, the Homayani family has treated me with nothing but generosity and kindness. If we decide to investigate this further, we could end up implicating the entire Homayani family. I would be biting the hand that's fed me over all these years.
Dia.
It's all right, Dia. If anyone were to ask, you could always just say that I'm the one who instructed you to get to the bottom of this.
You don't have to do that, my lady. I'm not conflicted because I'm afraid of taking responsibility. Besides, you're the one we should all be worried about right now.
Hey! It's still too early to give up hope! What was that thing about friendship again? Right, yeah, trust! You said that yourself, Dia! Besides, there's no point on getting all riled up before we've confirmed all the facts!
Thank you, everyone. That makes a lot of sense. I guess I should always remember the trust that I've placed in people. In which case, my lady, could you ask the Master to come out and have a chat with us?
Sure thing. I also hope he'll be able to give us a logical explanation. Let's meet at the usual place then.
Usual place? Ah, right!
Usual place indeed.
Thank you for coming, sir. Please allow me to introduce these two. This is the Traveler, and next to her is her travel companion, Paimon.
Ah, yes. My daughter has mentioned them from time to time. It's a privilege to finally meet them in person. But we may skip all the pleasantries for now. What is the important matter you wish to discuss with me today?
Well, we wanted to bring this transaction record to your attention. There's something on this record that we're all pretty curious about.
So, that's what you found? Huh. Seems like I can't keep everything from you much longer.
If you wouldn't mind, we'd like an explanation.
Well, it's a long and difficult story. And to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure if I'm doing the right thing. What I do know, though, Dia, is that the truth will bring you no solace. If anything, it will likely cause you a great amount of anguish.
Wait, me?
Yes. I understand perfectly why you came to see me. And I am touched by your collective commitment to do the right thing. But knowledge always comes at a price. And sometimes, as they say, ignorance is bliss. Your father, Kusela, and I both believed that. Of course, you have the right to seek and learn the truth, but I must warn you. The facts of this matter may reduce everything you've built for yourself into sand, blowing in the wind. If you must proceed, then Kusela's heartfelt efforts will also fade into the wind like a fleeting mirage.
His heartfelt efforts? I'm sorry, sir, but I'm not sure I follow. I've made it this far in life without a single drop of my father's support. I have my own ideals and ways of looking at the world, as well as people and causes that I've chosen to cherish and fight for. None of these things have anything to do with him. I came here today to support you as the head of the Homayani family. No warning will change my stance on that.
I understand. Then let me tell you a little story. Our family once needed to take a trip to the desert when Dunyarzad was just a baby. Along the way, we were attacked by bandits. They had superior numbers and quickly overpowered our bodyguards. When all seemed lost, a group of passerby Eremites lent us their support. Those Eremites were Kusela's brigade, Dekhan al-Ahmar. Kusela's men told me that the attackers were Eremite mercenaries, just like themselves. I was shocked. Why would Dekhan al-Ahmar go so far to save us and not spare the fellow Eremites? Kusela was grinning and walked over to play with baby Dunyarzad. She was startled by his unfamiliar face and nearly started crying.
Really? I never knew.
He said that he had no particular reason to help us. He just took pity on us because he had a daughter about the same age. We started talking about our children, and I sensed that he was a devoted father. To repay his kindness, I hired his brigade to help out at our estate for a time, and offered everyone generous remuneration.
So, that's what happened.
It was many years before I saw him again. I almost didn't recognize him the next time he came knocking on my door. The man I knew to be strong and healthy had been reduced to a shell of himself. He couldn't even walk anymore without his cane.
So, what happened to him? He was perfectly fine when I left the brigade.
I'm not too sure myself. The only thing that didn't change was his cheery disposition. He said there was absolutely nothing to worry about and that he had gotten into a fight. That was all. He then suddenly asked me if Dunyarzad, now that she had grown, would need a bodyguard of her own. At the time, Dunyarzad was going through a particularly severe bout of her Elazar. There was no need for her to have a bodyguard when she could barely leave the house. But he kept coming back to the topic. Come on, it never hurts to be safe. How do you know a bodyguard won't come in handy one day? I was completely lost at first, until he recommended the Blazing Beasts, and in particular, a mercenary named Dia.
So he was the one who recommended Dia to you.
Indeed. He didn't say it out loud, but it was clear that he saw Deshret's relics as an evil group who would eventually corrupt every member in their ranks. He was already beyond redemption, but he hoped that he would be able to detach his daughter from the vicious world of mercenary life. If Dia could stay in my house and keep working as a bodyguard, then gradually her affinity for the desert would decrease, and she'd be able to leave her previous life behind.
And that's why you offered her such generous compensation?
Yes, but not just because of that. From the moment that he asked me for that favor, I also began to see Dia as my own daughter. And that's also why I tried to persuade you to stay when you asked for permission to leave. I was willing to spend however much it took. Kusela saved my daughter and me all those years ago in the desert. I could never refuse him entrusting his daughter to me.
He was always like that, acting like he's oh so smart and self-righteous.
Kusela said that he'd reimburse me for a portion of Dia's fees. I refused to take any mora from him, but he'd always sent me funds anyway. Eventually, I just accepted them as a token of his gratitude. And that went on for a while until I received another letter from him a few years ago. The letter contained a request to help him buy food, weapons, medicine, and even explosive materials.
Wait! Isn't that around the time that Dakan al-Ahmar started becoming more aggressive?
That's right. When I started to hear some nasty rumors, I became wary. I wanted to meet him face to face to discuss things. But by then, he was no longer receptive to my requests to talk. If I had to guess, it's probably because he doesn't want to put Dia at risk. That thought occurred to me as well. I figured that he probably came to me for help because he had nobody else to turn to. After some deliberation, I decided to send him some food and medicine. I turned down all his requests for explosives and weaponry. I am aware that even such a reduced gesture of support could lead to others coming to harm, but I could not simply reject his plea for help. In the end, it probably was the wrong decision. I plugged my ears to the rumors and just chose a solution that made me feel least guilty about myself.
If you can, please tell me where he is now. None of the things he's doing right now make any sense if he's just trying to keep me from getting tangled up in his world. If all he wants to do is steer clear of me, then maybe he shouldn't have brought me into this world in the first place.
Oh no. Dia, please don't feel that way.
I'm just angry because I can't wrap my head around any of his actions. Another way? I don't know. I knew him, and he was nothing more than a childish brute. I can't understand what's going through his head, but I guess you do have a point. We haven't uncovered the whole truth yet. We still need to figure out his exact actions and reasoning for these last few years.
I'll do my best to help. Of course, anything between the two of you would need to be resolved between you and him alone. I don't know Kusela's exact whereabouts. Outside of supplying his brigade with some goods, I tried my best to avoid getting involved any further with him. However, there's a man on the list named Jawed. He used to be a mercenary in the desert and is now a member of the Corps of 30. He's responsible for supplying weapons and liaising with the Dakan al-Ahmar's merchant caravan. I think he should know Kusela's whereabouts. I've heard that he likes to have a few drinks alone and enjoy the cool wind at night outside the tavern. Maybe you'll be able to find him there.
Understood. Thank you, sir. Then I guess this is bye for now.
I'll stay and be with my father here. To be honest, I'm still a little dazed and haven't finished processing everything quite yet. My father has indeed done something wrong, but if I think about it, I'm also not sure if there was a right way to handle this problem. I feel like our only course of action is to turn everything we know over to the Corps of 30 and let them render judgment.
Yes. I am prepared to accept whatever verdict they choose. It's time to face my mistakes.
Huh? Who are you guys?
I know what you've been up to. Smuggling weapons to violent brigades in the desert while working for the Corps? Pretty bold, if you ask me.
Shh! Keep your voice down. How do you know all that? Come with me. We should take this elsewhere. I'll be happy to talk things over once we're somewhere private. This place should do. All right, back to my question. How did you all know about me?
Don't worry about that for now. You know what kind of punishment you'll face once we report you to the Corps, I assume.
Wait, there's no need to jump the gun. Let's talk this out. What are your terms?
So what's in it for you anyway, Mora?
Well, I was a little tight on money at the time, and Kusela took good care of me in the past. I waited in my mind, and I couldn't find a reason to turn the opportunity down. I wouldn't only be helping my benefactor, but I could also make some quick mora.
Let me tell you how it is. We're investigating Dakan al-Akmar, and we're gonna put an end to their operations. If you provide some help for us, then we might just put in a good word later to reduce the terms of your punishment.
Hey, why don't we discuss this a little first? Listen, I made quite a bit of mora from my last run. You just give me a number, and I'm sure we can...
Shut it. My patience is running out. You should know when a mercenary is after something other than money.
All right, sheesh. But you gotta promise you'll put in some nice words for me later. They're always on the move. Here's the spot they were at the last time I made my delivery to the desert. Feel free to go have a look. I'm just telling you, though, it's not on me if they're not there anymore.
Sure. And then you can forget about any nice words from us.
Hey, come on. Now you're just being unreasonable.
Really? And how do I know you're not leading us straight into a trap? Don't forget, you're the one with no bargaining chips.
All right, I get it. Why don't you go take a look, and if they're not there anymore, I'll try to figure out something else for y'all.
Now that's more like it. Let's move. And as for you, try to stick around the city until we get back. You don't want us to call the folks from the Corps and have them drag you back to the city.
Treasure. One way to draw your target.
Seems like we're in luck. That should be their camp right up ahead. Let's go. We'll finally get to the bottom of this ourselves. I'm here to see Kusela. Tell him to get out here.
Tia, why are you here?
Quietly now.
Let's get it on! Haven't you all done enough?
Oh, so are you also here to stop us?
Stay out of this! It's got nothing to do with you!
Buckle up!
I see everything.
She's so strong!
Enough fighting. We all know each other, and I don't want to take things too far. Just bring Kusela to me. There's no use hiding him anymore. Did you understand a single word I just said? Or do I need to bash your skull in some more?
All right, everyone, let's all just calm down for a second. Dia, the boss can't come out and see you anymore. He died a long time ago.
What?
Seems like you've been out of the loop for a while. Guess that's for the best, though. At least, that's what the old man wanted.
When did he die? What happened to him?
A few years ago, Kusela broke up Dakan al-Akmar and went to the Deshret's Relics headquarters by himself.
So is that when you guys started acting up?
We would prefer to call it taking revenge. Every last person in Deshret's Relics must pay in blood for what they did.
Ah, now things are...
Let me start from the beginning. Dia, do you know how the head of the Relics maintained order internally?
Overwhelming strength and unquestionable authority?
Those were a part of it, yes. But just those on their own weren't enough. They had another tool at their disposal. They called it a person's record. Regardless of whether they joined by their own will or were coerced, every person in Deshret's relics was forced to leave a record of themselves at headquarters. Whether it be their deepest sin, some unforgivable act, or their most immoral exploit, the records served both as a symbol of loyalty and the perfect material for blackmail. That's precisely it. Every one of us have a record. Me, Bashar, Tikriti, and all the boys who grew up with Dia and ended up joining our ranks. But you, Dia, you were never asked to provide a record, were you?
I never even knew this was a requirement.
You were probably the only person in all of Deshret's relics who didn't know about it.
Ever since you were born, Boss had been trying to shield you from this organization's sinister rules. Not only that, but he also banned all of us from committing any nefarious acts. He said he'd take care of the dues we had to pay regularly to headquarters. But in the end, he was just an ordinary person. What could he do? He was forced to go to headquarters again and again to account for missed dues and incomplete records. He'd come up with all kinds of excuses and get beaten up as a result.
We all knew he was doing that for you. He wanted to get you out of this world, no matter what it took.
And that's why he became a shell of himself and couldn't walk without a cane.
Wait, but that doesn't make any sense. I didn't know about any of this, and I'd never seen him get injured or beaten.
Because you were too young at the time. How would you ever tell between wounds from a beating and wounds from battle? When you left home after that final argument with him, he seemed to age by a decade overnight. Even his hair went gray.
So, even the blazing beasts were...
Yep. It was all his doing. Had he not arranged them to come to you, you probably would have been reduced to a pulp before you ever left the desert.
A few years ago, Boss said he needed to make another trip to headquarters. He was already pretty weak then, and we all assumed he was going to get beaten again. I suggested that he hand the role of leadership over to me, but he said there was no longer any need, since the Khan al-Ahmar would soon be no more. His words made no sense to me, but that night, we heard that a massive fire tore through headquarters and razed everyone's records to ash.
Everyone gained their freedom that night. Many members fled, not just from our ranks, but from the other brigades as well. But how could we leave with a clear conscience? All of us who knew exactly what had happened.
The boss can't have just died for nothing. Those heartless jerks at headquarters took him from us.
From that point on, the sole purpose of the Khan al-Ahmar became revenge. The big fire that Boss started was quite a blow to headquarters' strength. It's given us the opportunity to launch our attack. Even though we're outnumbered, we vowed to see our revenge through to the very end. There were people from headquarters who changed their names and went into hiding. Some fled to other brigades, and others escaped to the rainforest. But we won't let any of them escape our wrath. They'll all pay for what they've done.
We've suffered plenty of losses as well. To keep going, we need an enormous amount of supplies, from food and medicine to weaponry and explosives. All we can do is exchange our loot from Mora, and then use that to get supplies. We forged Boss's handwriting and sent out many letters to his former friends. Thankfully, many people were willing to come to our aid. We were also able to attract many mercenaries who shared our goal. We've endured unspeakable pain to win many impossible battles. Deshret's relics have become weaker and weaker, and now we finally have an opportunity to directly strike their headquarters.
Paimon doesn't know what to say anymore.
Oh, this got complicated. Do you have any idea? That's a better line to say. Not the first one.
We do know right from wrong, but we were sinners from the very beginning. We do not deserve the freedom that the boss won for us with his life. Boss always loved his old-fashioned hero stories. Those tales about sacrificing yourself to save the world. We used to always laugh at him for it. But in the end, he really went and lived those stories out himself.
He really did.
As for me, I never considered myself a hero. We're all the lowest of the low. We have no right to even imagine such an existence. But maybe those hero stories he liked foreshadowed everything that was to come. The spirit of the hero touched all those he had saved, and more people joined his cause. Maybe we were all just acting along with the play in the beginning. But as we acted the parts and recited the lines, we were drawn in. And now, we want to see the story through to the end. I'm sorry, Dia. I know you always found us insufferable ever since you were young. Just think of this as a madman ranting.
I'll go with you.
Huh? Dia? You wanna go with them?
Whether it's vengeance or not.
I grew up with these guys, and I know they're not bad people. It's just that some situations get so bad that it's difficult to tell good from evil. All I know is that Deshret's relics must be destroyed. Furthermore, I want to go see the place for myself. I want to know if my father is still there. I know you don't want to get involved in this, so there's no need for you to tag along. I can do this on my own.
Yeah, Paimon feels like we'd only regret it if we don't see this through to the end.
Thank you. We'll be a lot stronger together with you.
I bet Boss would lose his mind if he ever knew you'd join us at the very last moment like this.
Considering all the losses and injuries we sustained, we can't afford to turn down someone as powerful as you.
He can think whatever he wants. But the fact is, I owe him this much.
Yeah, I don't want to talk with any of them. Okay, so those are all.
Hey! Into the shadows.
Well, that gives me the right elevation.
Is this the entrance? We sure didn't run into much trouble on the way here.
Should be. I don't think they have enough manpower left to post guards and defend their perimeters.
Dendro, Electro, Pyro. Alright, let's get this done.
Wow. Paimon didn't expect it to look like this on the inside.
They should all be holed up in here. Don't know how many people they've got left, though.
Who cares? We'll round up all of them.
Still, we should be careful. Even if they've only got one shot left, it could still take us out.
Yeah, we'll know what they're really capable of once we've landed some hits on them. Deshret's relics may have been a force to be reckoned with before, but their name means nothing now.
Yeah, they don't stand a chance with you here. I'll take the lead. I've been here once before.
I swear to God, if we get a hostage situation, I'm gonna be ticked.
Everyone hold in!
Why do they never miss? Ready. Busted. Let's get it on! Huh.
I see everything.
Gotcha. Huh. Gloves off!
This way, follow me. We're almost there.
Wait! They went charging ahead without checking for any traps!
Hey, you guys okay?
It seems like we just got trapped in here. Don't think we triggered anything else.
Watch out, the enemy's coming from ahead.
Well, now that things have come to this, seems we'll have to fight our way through.
Don't worry about us. We knew something like this could happen. Go and take a look around. There could still be another way through. Let's go! We can't let the boss down!
Let's check if there's another way! The sooner we can make it through to help them, the better.
Let's see. I think I see a way through over there, but it's being blocked by something. Let's try our luck with that mechanism.
Okay, let's go! Hey!
Loaded.
Another mechanism like the one before, but this one's being blocked off in the middle.
We just need to adjust it a little.
Take it easy. Things are about to get dicey. Into the shadows.
Everyone hold hands!
Game's up. Fun's over.
How do I not get more? Whoops.
I wasn't expecting anyone to make it through from the other side. But as a desert dweller, I suppose we should be used to our folks defying all expectations.
Don't waste your breath. You have nowhere to run.
Run? Had I wanted to run, I would have fled 1,000 times already. I witnessed the golden age of Deshret's relics. Even if I could leave this place behind, all that awaits me now are endless days of humiliation and ruin. Even now, my brothers and I still believe in one thing. The greatest should never live to remember their fall.
So you want to go out in a blaze of glory?
Let us draw our weapons! We will show them the true power King Deshret bestowed upon his followers. They are but two, while we hold within ourselves the entirety of the Relic's glory. Wave 1, charge! Eliminate them!
Buckle up!
Don't think that you've won. We're just getting started.
You're dead meat!
Now you're dead. Will.
Let's get it on!
King Deshret will not abandon any one of his followers.
Here comes the catch. Ready.
Brothers! This is where we'll prove our faith.
Do you all just want to die?
None of us plan to leave.
The commander has finally fallen.
But they're still coming at us! This place is like a gladiator's ring. They just keep coming no matter how many we beat!
Yes! Keep fighting! There's no need to fear, and no need to back down! This is our last stand!
When the next wave comes, try to draw away their attacks. I'm going to see if I can take out that high platform.
Took you guys long enough.
Get out of my way!
To be dead.
Come and face me, Michel! Ugh, so they've broken through the front as well.
Apologies, Lord Michal. They fight like absolute madmen. No matter how much we throw at them, they just keep coming for more.
Wow. I see up to that. Well, he's dead.
So, it would seem like this is the end.
Time to pay for everything you've done, Michel.
You think I would give you that opportunity? I will be buried in the sand alongside all the rest of our fading glory.
Hey, wait!
Please don't tell me he has a self-destruct button.
We were too late.
It's over. There's no more need to fight. But if you're still going to cling on to your so-called mercenary's pride, then I'll give you all a good beating as well.
Hey, Dia! I found the mechanism. I'll get you all back up here right away.
Let's go.
Isn't Dia supposed to have some kind of regeneration effect? No, less than 40.
Who are you filthy rats? And why are you always pestering us?
You call yourself a member of the infamous Deshret's relics, and you still can't even tell who's made it all the way to your headquarters?
Who knows what intent a bunch of rats may have? We try to catch a couple, and you all just show up on the other side instead. How are we supposed to figure out what you're after? Hey, have you ever heard of a man by the name of Kusela? Why would I know?
It's not like I'm in charge or anything.
This is your last chance to talk.
Hey, I said I don't know anything. I'm just an average member here. I'm telling the truth. If you're here to find someone, why don't you look through the records yourselves? Who can remember every name and face with so many people coming in and out every day?
The irony. His life became a light for so many, yet to others, it wasn't even worth remembering. Where's the records room? Answer me!
It's right over there. All the files are in there. You can go through them as much as you want. It's not like any of them still matter anyway.
I mean the old records room.
The old records room? You mean the one that got burned down? Kusela. Ah, yeah, I remember him now. The guy who could hardly walk. Watch your mouth. That's our boss you're talking about. He was definitely faking it. We all let our guard down as soon as we saw him come hobbling in. But in the short time it supposedly took him to take a dump, he'd already gotten away and started a fire in the records room. He couldn't have possibly outrun us if he wasn't a fraud. And after that, Deshret's relics fell into complete disarray.
Stop wasting our time. Every one of us here is perfectly aware of what he had done. Tell me, where is the old records room?
It's just over there. Go see it for yourself if it means that much to you. There's nothing left in there but ashes. No human could ever survive that kind of inferno. Bashar, Tikriti, let's go. We'll leave the others here to guard these guys. Spare them no mercy if they try anything.
Curiosity, exploring. Random dead guy.
So, this was his final destination. How did he do it? Getting past all the guards with a limp and sneaking in here to start a fire? If he was nimble enough to do that, then he must have been able to get out of here after starting the fire, right?
Tia.
I'm sorry. I know it's just wishful thinking. Let's look around. Maybe we can find something that's been left behind.
Is this a cane? It must be the one that Dia's father used.
Kusela.
Thanks for everything, boss.
We're fortunate to somehow find that cane after that fire.
Let's split up and look around some more. What if something else has been left behind?
But what else could survive a fire like that?
Not a cane, that's for sure.
Huh?
Oh, the classic cane sword.
Thought so.
Wait! Isn't that the toy sword you played with as a child?
Not a real sword.
The dragon is no more, for Princess Dia has slain it. Its head now hangs above the city gates. Her bravery has brought eternal peace and prosperity to us all. Dia, come on. This is the most important line.
You can do it.
But Dia, you defeated the dragon. Everyone's waiting for your speech. Still too shy, huh? All right, I'll do it. I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more.
Yeah!
I hereby proclaim our victory. Evil shall plague us no more, Dad.
Alright, gave me goosebumps.
What's this?
Got you some drinks.
Don't you remember? You asked Paimon what she would do if she were to wake up tomorrow with loads of money. And Paimon said that she would get boatloads of tasty snacks. You looked super confused at the time, but said it was an adorable thing to say. These opportunities don't come by often. So today, Paimon's gonna treat you to a special crash course on Paimon's life philosophy. Hey, come on! Paimon's not that stingy. Anyway, the point is that you should eat to your heart's content. You'll feel better for sure once you've gotten something in your tummy. Dunyarzad will also be here shortly. She's already heard that we're back.
Aw, thanks, you two. Honestly, this is very unlike me. I just had a lot on my mind on our way back, so I didn't know what to say. My chest was filled with all kinds of intense emotions. They just shook me even more than all the feelings we've shared during our previous adventures. But when everything came to an end, those emotions also vanished without a trace, and I was left feeling more empty than ever before. It was as if I'd lost the thing that was most important to me. Yeah, you're right. To many mercenaries, Mora is the most important thing in the world. But perhaps to us, it's the most worthless thing of all. Idrisi and the others all used to say that they would quit if there was no Mora to be had. But when it came to avenging my father, there was no Mora to be made anywhere. My reality shattered when I found out that the father who always told me hero stories was in fact a bad guy. But look at me now. Am I any different? Despite all my promises about never forgiving him and never trying to understand him, I still went to such lengths to find out the truth and nearly even shed tears for his sake. We're hypocrites, all of us.
Oh yeah, that's expected.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a pity that we often only recognize our true feelings after it's already too late.
You're back! Are all of you all right?
Ah, there she is.
Yeah. Many people from the Corps of 30 came over, and I just wrapped up everything with my dad. All I can do now is wait for their verdict. Huh? Dia, you're looking quite down again.
Paimon will explain. A lot happened while we were gone.
I'm sorry. I really should have controlled my emotions better. I just...
It's all right, my lady. You were hurt by all of this as well. Truth be told, I'm starting to feel a little guilty watching you cry like this.
But Dia, your pain must be even worse. You shouldn't need to comfort me.
Hey, don't worry about me. If anything, this whole thing has finally shown me the difference between illusion and reality. My father probably thought that people could settle into new lives as long as they moved to a new environment. That thought has even crossed my mind a few times. It's like saying, what's wrong with adapting to a new life? However, there was always something deep within my mind that refused to accept it. This impulse brought me great turmoil, and even made me feel ashamed for turning my back on your father's kindness. But now that I consider it again, it all makes sense. The desert sands are a part of who I am, and I will never be able to lead a peaceful existence.
I understand how you feel.
That doesn't mean I won't be making any changes to my life, though. As an example, I'm now thinking about taking on some small odd jobs. It's just like Idrisi said. I also want to catch up to my father and become a character in his play. Even if the ending of the story may be childish and ridiculous, it won't really matter.
Isn't that neat, though? Oh, you'll be a whole new kind of mercenary, one that's not out for Mora. Why don't we go for a change of scenery once we finish eating? What about stopping by the Grand Bazaar again?
Right. You said you wanted to get a rug for your family.
We'll come along too.
I continue the cutscene.
I can't thank you enough for taking care of me this entire time.
Into the shadows.
Oh, this rug here is quite something. The craftsmanship is exquisite, and the fabric is also of high quality.
Ah, here you are. Finally, I found you.
Hey! Aren't you that mercenary who bit his tongue? You can still talk? Wait, are you here to take revenge on us?
What are you talking about? Do I look like I could take you all to a fight?
Voice.
I just came here to give you something. I'll be on my way to give myself up to the Corps after this. Once I woke up, I hurried to the Khan al-Ahmar's camp, hoping to alert them to your presence. But when I got there, I found no one except the members who were still too injured to move.
Ah, so you probably got there after us.
Yeah, they told me that they had exacted their revenge, and everyone had turned themselves in to the authorities. Even that last camp was not going to last for much longer. I had joined the cause to repay an old favor from Kusela. Now that everyone's already turned themselves in, I might as well do the same. One of the injured members gave this box to me, and told me that it contained some of the old man's last possessions. Everything left in the camp will get confiscated, so I figured I should get this to you before the Corps could get their hands on it.
Thank you.
No worries. We are all just living our own truths. There's no need to comment or judge anyone for it.
So this box contains everything that Dia's father left behind. Huh. It feels lighter than expected.
Well, back in the day, the first thing he did with any Mora was spend it on things like drinks and meat. But let's see what's inside. What's this? It's just a bunch of junk. Ugh, it kinda stinks.
And there's the unwanted trailer.
Perhaps it's just been left unopened for too long.
A handwritten copy of a storybook. The paper's already yellowed, and it looks like it's about to fall apart. It was against the Academia's rules to possess books for personal use. If he was going to break that rule, he could have at least copied something useful.
That probably means this was really important to him.
Ah, and here are a few bags of children's snacks. The packaging's completely deteriorated. Maybe that's where the smell was coming from.
Did he get those for you?
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Even when I was a child, I was never a fan of these kinds of snacks. He'd always say that he got them for me, but in the end, he always ate more than I ever did. Who even leaves snacks in a box like this anyway? Isn't that just common sense? Forget it. Let me see what else is in here.
Something she might
A razor, some buttons, some round iron tiles, a wooden toy puppet, a wool scarf, which from the looks of it probably belonged to a woman, and a hair clip? Why are these things here?
I'm suddenly feeling a little scared.
I'm sorry, my lady, but this is just the kind of man he was. He probably saw this box as some kind of personal trash heap and dumped any and everything in there. 2 empty liquor bottles. Tell me, you guys, are these the kinds of things that a normal person would leave behind?
Huh?
Probably not.
There's something in the bottle!
Oh, you're right. All right, I got it out. It seems to be a piece of paper with some writing on it. The bottom part's all damaged from moisture, though. Let's hope the writing didn't smudge. I was suddenly seized with an urge to write a letter after finishing this bottle. I just folded it up and left it in the bottle, though. If I end up forgetting about it, it won't really matter. To Dia. It's a letter for me? It's all right. I'll just read it out. If he went to the trouble of writing a letter, there must have been some important things that he wanted to say. Or at least record down.
My condition's becoming worse and worse. Can't even walk without a cane anymore, much less go out and have fun. Guess I don't have many days left. If you're reading this letter, then I suppose I'm already long gone. You were adorable as a baby. Everyone loved you. And regardless of whether you were crying or laughing, everyone enjoyed having you in the group. But once you grew a bit older, you were no longer nearly as happy or cute. It's probably the guy's fault.
Can you believe this guy? He can point the finger at himself.
Anyway, back to the point. To summarize, I'm writing this so you would know not to feel sad for me, even if you end up finding out the truth. The reason being that I was never your father to begin with.
Wait, what?
Surely, he must be joking, right?
I don't know.
I was quite formidable when I was young, and 100 times cooler than some so-called flame main. Really felt like the whole world was under my feet. With just a teeny tiny bit of effort, I felt I could rule over the entire desert. But as fate would have it, I went out into the desert for a drink one day, and discovered a baby in the sands. It was you. You were just lying there, small and helpless. You were so tiny that if the wind blew for just a little while longer, you would have been buried forever. But your cries were so loud they made my head hurt. Now that I think of it, you really were a bundle of energy.
Sounds like he's serious.
I told Idrisi and the others that I had slipped up with a woman while out and about. None of them even doubted me. I'm sorry that I had to lie to them for so long, but I really had no other choice. I was their most esteemed leader, after all. It's not like I could just tell them that I suddenly wanted to play at being a father. At this rate, I'll puke up all the liquor I just drank from this bottle. Anyway, Dia, you possess the kind of freedom and kindness that we could only dream of. As far as how you should live your life, that'll be up to you to decide.
That's the end of the letter. In the end, he was still thinking of me as a little child. I suppose, or I would have suffocated under the sand a long time ago.
He was a good father to you. The fact that he wasn't a blood relative doesn't change that.
Yeah. It's just a pity that we had to learn the truth of everything like this.
Do you already have some ideas about the decision that he wanted you to make?
I do. If he first found me alone in the sands, then I want to try my hand at finding the person who abandoned me. I just have one wish. To tell them a story. That there once existed a childish and foolish jerk with a heart of gold. And that only under his care was I able to grow and mature into the person I am today.
If you end up finding any leads, can you share them with us? We go on adventures all the time. Maybe we'll be able to find some information for you.
Sure, I appreciate it. I wasn't expecting you to be so enthusiastic.
Don't want you to keep moving.
I'll help too.
Thank you.
Stop moving.
All of you. Thank you so much. My life has certainly had its twists and turns, but I've always considered myself lucky, because no matter where I've gone, I've always been surrounded by incredible kindness.
Well, that's done. I think I'm gonna call it quits for now.